Most folks in Eberron live their lives hoping to survive and protect the ones they care about the most. A few do that and more, trying to help those around them, even the ones they don't know. But only one group does all that when no one else can. The King's Citadel. The ones who do the job no one else can do. Eberron, the Shield. A star-forged aegis whose strength lies in their shield, their armor, and their will to keep the Citadel and its mission safe. Merime, the Sword. A Kalashtar bard whose dreams have grown more troubled, the sight of her future grown more dim, but whose skill in battle, wisdom in counsel, and love for her sister and the Citadel has grown even stronger. Tantan, the Brain. A dragon-marked human artificer whose jovial demeanor conceals a deep curiosity, razor-sharp intellect, and long memory, with knowledge of what he did for the last war, and what he can or must do for the next one. Nisiana, the Heart. A dragon-marked halfling healer whose love for her sister is matched only by her desire to help and heal the members of the Citadel, even as the threats they face grow stronger and stranger, and even if she herself can't know where the next path might lead. Rowan, the Wild Card. A human wild magic sorcerer who's played a dangerous game for most of his life. Now he's gone all in to save his friends. But will he have the chips to pay if his bet is called? These 5 elite operatives came together to aid the salvage outpost of Salvation, where the Grey hovers nearby, a threat and a promise. With the Oracle of War, they found an artifact powerful enough to end a war, or begin one. They traveled to Sharn, City of Towers, and started to unravel the Oracle's mysteries while stopping assassination attempts from the Emerald Claw and the Nation of Thrain. They found Sky Blue, the daring thief somehow tied into the ancient draconic prophecy, and stopped the Claw operative Erulin Karnak before traveling back to Salvation and into the Grey to take down the repurposed Conclave outpost, repel a war-forged invasion, and take the fight to the Lord of Blade's secret fortress, Razorcrag. They found an elemental forge of great power and rescued both hostages from Salvation and the maker of the Oracle of War himself. But the cost, and Braelish soldiers and the mighty floating fortress Argoth, taken by the Lord of Blades himself, was high. Now the King's Citadel must widen their world, traveling to the neighboring countries of Karnath, Thrain, and beyond. They've saved Salvation, navigated Sharn, and neutralized Razorcrag. But can they learn the Oracle's secrets, unmask the Emerald Claw, and stop a war? Only if they remember that in the end all they have is each other and the King's Citadel. Long live the King. Welcome to Eberron. Welcome to Corvair. Welcome to the world beyond Salvation. And as the cozy fire brings us in, as we move towards the end of Season 4, Drums of War, it is our time to join all of you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Arvanauts, to a Tuesday. Yeah, sure, it's Tuesday. Not quite. It's actually a Saturday. That's where you're wrong. Saturday, June 8th. And welcome to Day 58 of Dungeons & Dragons with Infinity and Beyond. It's Eberron Oracle of War. This is Season 4, Drums of War, the final part of Season 4, Drums of War, called Stonefire. Before we go any further, just a couple of reminders about ways to support the channel. And thank you, Genli. I appreciate that very much. Good to see you. Just a couple of notes before we go any further, a couple of reminders about things. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to follow follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube with the exclamation point ArvTube. And if you are watching over on YouTube, thank you so much for the resub trend. Stonefire. We also, and I think somebody else, I think it was Hillness that I saw before. Somebody did. I think it was Hillness also. Somebody did. I think it was Hillness came in before and resubbed as well. So thank you to everybody for subbing and resubbing. And I'll come back to the subbing stuff in just a bit. If you're watching me over on YouTube, welcome. Please consider subscribing to me over there. It's free to do that as we continue to build up our sub numbers. Also, make sure to share all of the shorts. We have new shorts videos that have been coming out. Just a new one that just dropped today. Also over on Gen GMs. Thank you for that. We have a new long form video that just dropped as well for Gen GMs, so please continue to support and follow all the and do all the sharing of the shorts and the long videos and all that kind of stuff. 84 months. Thank you so much. Wait a minute. Is that's 7 years? That is 7 years of support. My goodness. Thank you, Helness. 7 years. Wow. That is like, as Triffid said, what even is time? Like, I can't even, good gravy. Thank you so much, Hillness. And by the way, Hillness, there's a package that'll be headed your way that I'm sending out early next week. The same thing for Triffid. So be aware of all that, all of you who are watching some ArvCon. So please do that. Please follow over on YouTube. If you're over on YouTube, please make sure to follow us on my Twitch channel as well. Discord is !ArvCord. You can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. Twitter is !ArvTweets. Blue Sky, !ArvSky. Website, arvanelleron.com. Financially, !ArvShop is the merchandise area where you can get a bunch of stuff relating to our various campaigns, including one that is, I promise, coming, Expedition of the Mysterious Peaks. It has been a very long process because of a couple of things that have happened behind the scenes, but we're almost there, and then we'll have that stuff up and available to you. But you can get other stuff relating to this campaign, Eberron Oracle of War, also Infinity and Beyond in general, and a bunch of other stuff, which both helps the channel and gives you cool swag. Same thing if you want to support the channel by subbing to the channel, which a number of you have already done tonight. As we said, you get those custom sub badges and emotes to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch, and inspirations to help our players. You do that as well with !Arvtreon, which is the Patreon. That gets you cool stuff, also including those inspirations. Now, the inspiration list is larger this month because we had some ones that were left over from ArvCon, so I am letting those hang in there basically for another month. But as of July, we're going to be back to our normal process, and so I will purge the unused ones, and I will purge those who do not have one coming to them. So if you want to make sure that you have an inspiration every month, please make sure you sub at the tier 2 level. If you want to make sure that you have it, or support the Patreon at the $10 level, if you want to make sure that you have 2 inspirations every month, you can either support the Patreon every month at $20 or $10 Patreon and tier 2 sub. That will do it as well. But please do those things because they really do help the channel, and they're cool for you as well as we move towards various channel goals. On the publishing side, !Icarus, that's my graphic novel from Athos Arts. !Library is my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. My best-selling adventure from 5e Adventure in Sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And !Greyshade. Very excited about this because Greyshade and Renegade are the first 2 books of the Grey Assassin trilogy. Those are award-winning, critically acclaimed. They are out now. You can get those at that link. You can also get the audiobook of Greyshade from our very own Trent Sparks now. You can pre-order the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade, which will come out from Alligator Alley, and our very own Brandon O'Brien. That will be coming out at the end of this year. And, of course, the final book, Heretic, in the Grey Assassin trilogy, which will be coming out literally next month. It'll be out July, is when that book will be out. I have now had a chance to see the cover. We now have the cover, and the cover is going to be revealed a week from Tuesday in a big cover reveal event. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you're here for that. Very excited about the conclusion of the Grey Assassin trilogy and about selling it as a whole series. I'm very excited about that too. That's going to be good times. And as always, !BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. !Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And !Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war war with bravery and courage, and send the message we will do so for others in the future. Quick schedule note, we have got Eberron tonight, which will be going on till just 11 o'clock, maybe a few minutes after, but only a few minutes after, because I want to honor everyone's time. We had to start late today because it was my son's 8th birthday party today. Mini Arv is 8 years old. He actually turned 8 on Thursday, and so he's 8 years old. We had a big bouncy castle outside, a bouncy obstacle course, really. He had a lot of people who came to his birthday party. My daughter, Little Arv, baked him a birthday cake. It was a salamander cake because his favorite animal is the salamander. So it was a salamander with an 8 on it. It was very cute. It was very good. We really had a good time. Everybody had a good time. So he is, and then he was just like totally exhausted. Like he's absolutely wasted right now. He's just, oh God. So we had a great time. We have another busy day tomorrow doing a bunch of different stuff. But he had a wonderful time. So, and I noticed a couple of people, wished him happy birthday or asked me to wish him happy birthday for them. So I have done that for those who told me. And if anyone did it tonight, I'll make sure to send him a happy birthday as well. It was great. He ate a salamander 8. He basically did. He had a great time. So I love him very much. He's a really good kid. So that is the deal with that. Yes, and Pride Month in a lot of the world. That's also a very important point. Very good call, Genly. Yes. Okay, so there's that. On Tuesday, we have D&D with viewers. So for those of you who are my European viewers who can't usually watch or stay up this late to watch later ones, Tuesday is your chance. D&D with viewers, but you'll want to make sure that you are there at the beginning of the session. If you show up a half hour into it, then we're already going to be on the way because I cannot run over for that session because I have D&D Ghosts of Saltmarsh going on over at GOG.com with Pen and Pixels and with our new By the Dice Roll TTRPG group that has been formed for this purpose. So we're continuing Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and that means I need to be over there at 4:15 p.m. Sharp. So that's going to be happening on Tuesday. So if you want to do D&D viewers with me, make sure you're here at the beginning of the session at noon Eastern for that session. And then that evening, at 9 p.m. Eastern, the Arvocalist will be continuing as we move into the home stretch of the Banner Saga 3. So it's going to be a good time. I am looking forward to it. But I'm also looking forward to this session today, and so I'm going to unmute myself and let the folks know we're ready to go. I will apologize as always because I can't hear them. If I interrupted them, I'm sorry. And then I'm going to go over here, and last but not least, I'm going to go over to reveal the crew. They are ready to go. They are prepared. They are level 13.
Yes,
they are really great.
Don't bury the lead. I mean, that's a good thing.
Is level 13 the
level 13 and good are two different things.
Well, no, isn't level 13 I'm trying to think of what the name of the band was that did this song. There's something about you. I don't know if it's level 13 or level 42. I should know this. Anyway, I don't know why. I've been on an 80s kick lately. There's been a lot of 80s music on my feed. No,
yes,
it's not.
You're right.
Yeah.
This little ball of lava not leave me.
Is not. Cat, take a drink. It's good to see everyone in the Infinity and Beyond crew. I will start with the gentleman whose beard has been tamed. I think it's fair to say. Look at that. It looks much cooler. Is that fair to say? Much cooler.
It is. It is much cooler. It's not, but it's not really the temperature that gets me as I described to you guys. It's like when I'm laying in bed and I turn my head and my beard brushes against my chest here and I think things are crawling on me.
Yeah.
Snap awake. It's just, I love the way it looked. I hate the way it felt.
Yeah.
It's like just the next thing that's going to go is going to be this. I'm going to go get a haircut because that will adjust the temperature. Why am I putting that in quotes? I don't know. We were all comparing the sizes of our temperature.
Yeah.
In the green room
there was a lot of temperature talk. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm Trent Sparks. I'm supposedly a voice actor and audiobook narrator. Some have said.
Can confirm.
Yeah. It's just a question of being able to actually do it.
Well, speaking of that, where's the can you put your GoFundMe link in chat so we can get that done?
Hey, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Why did I not think of that? Okay, I will grab the link.
Because you are feeling nervous about the whole thing altogether. It was like me and my Kickstarter.
In case people are curious what this is, I should say that, first of all, we've congratulated Jen on the success of her Kickstarter. I do that again. I want to congratulate Athos on making their goal in their GoFundMe. They passed $15,000. That was thanks to a number of people who supported it, but it also included a $5,000 anonymous donation in there. Athos does great work. I'm biased, obviously. They are one of my publishers, but they do great work, so there's that. So congratulations to Athos. And now congratulations, or I shouldn't say congratulations. No, I can't congratulate you yet. Well,
What?
we want you we want to congratulate you.
I mean, that'd be great. Thank
yeah,
you.
it would be great for this GoFundMe. So explain what the GoFundMe is about, Trent.
So because of the way that the universe has fallen together here at the house, I can only really record at night because of this. I'm currently using this microphone, but this microphone that I use for work, as people who have lived here before, and we would be like gaming, and they are at the other end of the hallway, and they're like, "Can you turn the gain down on your mic? I can hear myself." Right, so my microphone will pick them up,
Okay.
but they can't hear me when I'm sitting right here. That's one thing I almost never mention. But anyway, then there's like here probably in the next 2 weeks or so, the crickets will start going outside of this window, and this is the only place that they gather on the property, is here underneath my bedroom window.
Seems reasonable.
So
like, let's go there.
Yeah, it's like. There's a hose faucet right there, but there's also one in the backyard. Why don't they go there? There's never any crickets anywhere else but under that window. Anyway, and then there's the mockingbird that lives around our house, who decides at midnight to 5 a.m. to start singing his like 2-minute long song again and again and again and again and again, and I can't see him, so I can't shoot him because it's nighttime. Somebody's like, just get like a 2 megawatt laser. I'm like, I don't have one, and I can't see him, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, so but and then there's trains that go by, at night and constantly from San Jose up to Oakland, thing. So that's what causes difficulties recording at night. But if during the day, my housemate's right on the other side of this wall, and he's got work calls, and we're on a hardwood floor that's on stilts, so it's like when anything moves, it's crazy loud. And I would much prefer to work during the day, because my brain is like, hey, the sun's gone down, we should be asleep, or hey, the sun's up, you should be awake. And so getting the booth would mean that I'd be able to put it at the other end of the house, so that I would be away from him. I'd be away from the crickets. I'd be away from the apparent calendar synchronization of everyone in the neighborhood, either getting their roof redone, all of their lawn care done at the same day. Anyway, it would just be much easier to have a proper isolated vocal booth instead of this clamshell thing that I have. It would just be better. And I'd be able to work during the day and function like a normal individual person.
It would be better for your health, for your career, for your future, for you doing my novel.
For you doing future, of my novels. Like, so,
why do I suddenly feel like almost everyone in this call has like something they want me to narrate? Why is that?
What do you mean?
I'm the person with the least stakes here, and I will still let everybody know that if you help Tren get to this vocal booth, you will be empowering Tren to do more work. So if you like hearing Tren's voice, you'll get to hear Tren's voice more often.
Apparently a few people like that kind of thing.
That's right. And so this is a $10,000 goal. So far, Trent has raised $1,405 of it. And there's also, and everyone who donates gets something, right? Like, theoretically, like, you record something.
The satisfaction of knowing that they helped me.
Of course, but in addition to that, you record something for them, don't you?
Yes, I will record screaming, "Repent!" No, wait, that was for you.
It was actually for Chris, apparently, but
well, yeah, that's true. I will get up to a 30-second recording of whatever you'd like me to do. I do reserve the right to veto, because I'm not going to record something like, "My name is Tren Sparks and I approve this message." Shit, I just said it.
This is my favorite store on the Citadel.
This is the person I'm
Oh God.
Nominating for president of the.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I really appreciate Joe Smith because I really think that
we had that series here. It's like just as the guy's like being occluded by the camera, he's like, I know Jason Giambi.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly.
Who?
Oh my God.
I had no idea who it was, so it didn't matter. Anyway, yes. So I will record a nice little 30-second thing that if you want, maybe you want a Worgen Wars or Wars. Okay, this is why you're going to write it because I can't speak. I mean, I can speak, but I can't. Whatever. So
support it.
Sure.
So definitely support that is my point. So far, we have been very successful on this channel in people who are connected with us matching their goals, whether it be through Kickstarters or through GoFundMe's or the like. So I'd like that perfect record. This really has nothing to do with trend. I just want the perfect record of the channel to continue. That's what matters most here. No, I'm just kidding.
To further that, if people would like to, match and double the amount so they get $20,000 instead of 10, then I could probably fix the new gas leak in my car that is filling the cabin with gasoline fumes when I'm driving around.
Should that be the first 10,000 goes to that?
Yeah, that's also important. It turns out you can't get Transparks to record audio for you if Transparks is dead.
We got his booth. That's the good news. The bad news, he's slumped over in his
really high.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, that's so high.
Anyway,
I'm pretty sure there's a critical threshold where you're not supposed to inhale gasoline.
Yeah, exactly.
Window open.
Anyway,
you can afford to get a new car.
Yeah,
or get
exactly.
Your car fixed.
I want an EV, but I don't think that the Aptera is going to be out by then.
It's dead, but you're exactly right. And Trent is an evangelist for the EVs, quite rightly. But
not just me, Brad Bollier as well.
I know.
I'm
all about it. We have a new one. Listen, next up is
you got hybrids. Those
I got
hybrids.
Yeah. You should do this by checking out the command. Thank you, Triffid! ! Go fund Tren. That's also a really fun command to do. Go fund Tren, and then you can support it. And I would love to do that. I will throw one extra little additional thing just for this particular session, which is that I will grant the players an additional inspiration during this session if we reach $1,500. So he's at $1,405. So if we get $95 handed over there, I will give the players an inspiration for use. Not that they'll need it, I'm sure, he said, but just in case, Trent, who are you playing in our session today?
I don't know. Yeah, his name, he's a human. Oh my God, the furry's playing a human. I know, I like to go against type sometimes. Anyway, he's also kind of asexual, but then, never found a romantic interest, Anyway, his name is Miatantan Tagashad Dekat, of the House of Making. He is a dragon marked human, so he has these glowing dragon marked tattoos that glow really damn bright whenever he uses his magical abilities. And he has a Mechano good boy dog, steel defender named Spanner, who travels around with him and is very shiny right now. He's now had enough downtime to finish repairing him, so he's not like the slinky dog anymore.
And did we determine this is Spanner 2.5, 3.5?
He would be, if Tanton kept track of that stuff, he would be Spanner 3.5.
3.5. Okay, I just want to make clear.
It's Spanner.
Eventually we'll get to 5th edition. It'll be the best edition of all. I made a D&G joke. Anyway, Trent, always a pleasure to have Trent with us. I also wanted to say hi to Live Suing. Thank you, by the way, Live Suing, for the amazing work on the shorts. Live Suing is awesome. And thank you, Trent. Very excited to hear what Tanton gets up to tonight. Also excited to hear what the character stylings of Merime Hawksmoor happens tonight. Marie, how are you? How's life in the universe with you? Do you have a vocal booth GoFundMe you want to do, like a GoFundMe to expand Carrie to Carrie's baking skills so that they can be sent to all of us collectively? Like maybe we could do that. Like how are you doing these days, and who are you playing tonight?
Yeah, people should just PayPal me money and see if you get baked goods in your. Don't worry about sending me your address.
See if you get right.
I like it.
Results not guaranteed, but the joy it would bring us. I went to Carrie and I went. It's like my job. I see like it's my job to keep like Carrie in flower. This is important.
Okay.
I went to the Costco Business Center. I hate Costco with a passion, but my friend tells me, right? Passion, very deep in my heart. And my friend who has 3 kids tells me that there's this place called the Business Center, and it's where restaurants go to shop. for their supplies.
This is true. Yeah.
And I'm very excited. I'm like, this sounds insane. Like they have these giant, like even gianter amounts of things. And for some reason that spoke to my joy button because it was so different. So we went there. I got Carrie 25 pounds of sugar and 25 pounds of unbleached flour.
How can you hate Costco after that? I mean, really?
So what happened when she used that up after the first weekend?
Well, we had just restocked because it's my job to see her in flowers. So she is always stocked. And we have this giant bin like in our kitchen where since pandemic and the flour run out and like she makes her own bread. Like it's we can't run out of flour. It's terrible.
No,
so
terrible.
We started keeping extra. And then I got 3.5 kilograms of like baking powder. So it's like this giant, yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, life is good. There's gonna be baked goods. I take my job seriously.
Yeah, no, it's
Like,
admirable. I love that for you. I just have to say, really.
Yeah, thank you. We're not gonna die of diabetes or anything. I'm sure. So I am doing very well. We spent the day actually organizing a gallery wall upstairs. So it was like 25 pictures that we fit into like an about 8-foot long wall.
Okay.
An accent wall in our snug. And Carrie and I spent like a lot of time organizing those pictures so they were perfectly balanced. And yeah, so I'm knackered and excited to be here so I can get my rapier back because I am playing Mirimi Hawksmoor, and I am a College of Sword bard who almost got flung out of a tower last time and almost fell 1,000 feet to my death.
Yep.
My terrible bone shattering, skin ripping into pieces, organs exploding death. But I lived. But my rapier is gone, however, so I'm hoping I can get it back.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens and if the rapier can be found. But at least Marimé is still with us. Always a pleasure to have Marie with us. Also a pleasure to have Brandon O'Brien with us. Brandon is back. And hello. Good to see you, my friend. I hope all is well. Yeah, I mean, and I guess, like, it's not like I was about to say, is there anything in specific? And then I'm like, I think definitely we'd like to have GoFundMe's going to everybody that would be just like fully funded. That would be great. So I imagine that's the case. Maybe not a vocal booth for you, but I'm thinking to give you the ability to work with your incredible poetic skills, your game design skills, etc. Yeah. So and also just like basic things like that need to get done. So is there anywhere people should just send money to you immediately, Brandon, so that people can do that? I just want to be clear about that.
Oh God. This is the part where I remind people that while I was attempting to resolve the washing machine issue, which has since been resolved, it was very annoying and very time consuming, but there is now a new washing machine. And I'm very excited about that. But while I was doing so, I made a thing. There is now on my Ko-fi page, only on Ko-fi, and only for the next like 180 something downloads, there is an RPG that I made available there for $10 or more called The God of Spite and Violence, which I think is really fun. If you enjoyed John Wick, if you enjoyed Monkey Man, I am attempting to make a thing that you can play with just one more person to replicate the experience of being in a movie you just beat dozens of goons to death with a hammer. I like the thing, and I want people to buy the thing. I would very much also like that people help me accomplish other financial goals in my life. But instead of just asking you for the money now, I'm telling you there's a game that you can play. So I would like it very much if people played The God of Spite and Violence and told me their experience playing it, because there's a part of my brain that is fused to that game now. I really dig the attempting to create the experience of a GM and one player telling the story of someone who should not be fighting, learning that they are very good at actually ruining people's lives.
Well, can I just say,
climbing the emotional tower of trying to destroy the person who destroyed their own lives.
Well, yeah, because like the thing is, I don't know how chat you could avoid wanting to play a game that is called, so it's The God of Spite and Violence, and then the further title is a game about hyper violence, fierce vendettas, and bisexual mood lighting. I don't understand how anyone would not be like, let me go get that right now. That would be amazing, right? So also thank you, Shadow Mage. Shadow Mage has donated $25 to Trend's GoFundMe.
Yay!
So that's good. Thank you, Shadow Mage. It's very kind of you.
Nice.
So when he did exclamation point, I helped fund Trend 25. That's really funny. So now we have a way to know when these things happen. Thank you, Shadow. So anyway, yeah. So so you should totally get the God of Spite and Violence. Also, I love that name anyway. So you should definitely do that. So good things there. Otherwise, Brandon, anything cool going on with you? And who are you playing tonight?
Anything cool going on with me? I am still in the trenches of doing work. That has been fun. But a brief reprieve this week has been Destiny 2 The Final Shape. Came out a couple of days ago. And this expansion is the best writing Destiny has had in quite some time.
I just need to play the 65 prequels to understand.
You just need to consume everything beforehand. Yes.
Can they hire you as lead writer so that you can fix this? Please, can you do that?
Oh God, you say that I will admit that in the interest of onboarding people, there is a lot that you need to get through, and the Final Shape doesn't do a great job of distilling all of that.
I'm shocked.
A lot of people.
What a stunning development that they don't actually do a good job.
I do wish that it was. I do wish it were easier to consume all of the things that came beforehand. But with that being said, all of the emotions that I have about this season's story is actually very good. They brought back Nathan Fillion to voice Kate Six, a character who was dead for a year and a half previous. And the story of like why Kate is still alive and what's happening inside the Traveler is actually really cool and really fun. There are some really neat character interactions that I dig a great deal. Like it's very hard in a lot of games that I realized while playing the Final Shape that it is really hard in a lot of games for story to consistently also simultaneously be very good about its world building and very good about its characters in ways that are unique and distinct. Not saying that it doesn't happen, but when it happens, it does things in my brain. And this did things in my brain, and I really enjoyed it. So if you like shooting things until they explode, until they catch fire and literally turn into ash and float away, you should play Destiny 2 The Final Shape. That's all. Writing and Destiny has been my life for the past, 6 days, and before that it was just always the writing. So I have nothing else to share with you. Literally the anecdote that I had prepared for this session was randomly on YouTube I saw a video that I wanted to share with Marie about a man cursing Quebecois about being frightened that he saw a mannequin in a window and was afraid that it was actually a naked human being. So yeah,
you should
my life has been. I should. So yeah, this is to say that my life has been consumed by writing things for money, and now they're consumed by writing things for money and also shooting things until they catch fire and turn into ash and float away. That being said, tonight I'll be playing Rowan Shallow, who also has a gun,
but also shoots things. Yeah,
also shoots things, but unfortunately they do not catch fire and then turn into ash and float away.
No, you just do wall of fire.
Right, sir.
Well, I think you do a lot of fire as it is yourself. Other people, yeah.
But yeah, I am the team's requisite wild magic sorcerer and the idiot. And I am presently recovering from the high that is not dying, not being the first person to die or dying at all in 2 combat encounters. So that's been really refreshing, and I want to see if that keeps up. It won't.
Very excited to see what goes on with this, and also very, very excited, everybody, for when the Grey Shade TTRPG comes out. I'm getting more excited, not just about the game being released, but also about watching Brandon be involved with it when GMing a session of it. it's going to be really, really good. So I'm very excited for that. But more about that at a later time. Thank you, Brandon. Good stuff as always. Really good to have, as always, Jennifer Brozick with us as well. It is not at all 1,000,000 degrees in a place where it should not be 1,000,000 degrees right now. And I'm sure that the lava cat is totally helping with all that. How are you, Jen? Is it in fact 1,000,000 degrees by you? And who are you playing today?
We've cooled down to about 79.
Okay.
So I guess 26.
Sub 1,000,000 then.
And so my office has moved from 75 down to 72, which means it's starting to stop being so damn hot, except the little ball of lava wants to sit right here.
Well, recognizing that you're cooling down is like, I need to reheat, clearly right this point.
It's beautiful weather if you like the sun, which I do not. Which is why I live in the Seattle area. I like the clouds. I like rain. It's normally around 70 degrees, a little upper 60s, 70 right about now. It's usually the perfect ambient temperature. It's supposed to get back that way in a couple of days.
It shall happen.
So I will be happy. Otherwise, I'm playing Nisiana Di Juraska, halfling healer of the House of Healing, who did die. Well, who did get knocked down last game because frickin' everybody shot her every single round.
But she got up again. No, you're never going to keep her down. So
exactly.
Dreading that.
A bullet in my hand, and because there's a song that I really like that probably would go great with the god of spite and violence.
Spite and violence. Yeah.
I will have to send that to you, Brandon, because it's a great song.
Yes, please.
Yes. Otherwise, I am in a hurry up and wait situation with my edits. I'm waiting for people to get things back to me from multiple points of view, but I have a compressed timeline because I leave next week, Tuesday. No, wait, 10 days from now on a red eye for a convention. So there's a lot that has to get done and finished between now and then. And I don't have those things. So I am salty, but I'm also hot. And I'm probably more salty because I'm hot. Otherwise, things are going all right. I've got a lot of work and some new projects on my schedule that I thought were gone projects. So
and they've made their return.
You guys will hear some great things, but otherwise, my newest Shadowrun novel will be coming out by the end of the month, and that is the Mosaic Run. I would show you on my website, but my website hosting is being shifted, and it is a fiddly thing, and GoDaddy sucks. I'm shifting off of GoDaddy. So currently, if you go to my website, it looks like the domain is suspended. My website will come back in 1 to 2 days, maybe 3, depending on how cranky it is. And then I can show you. Actually, maybe I'll go to my Coffee account and put up my newest cover because I just got it. But also in the same time, I have hired a terrifyingly competent and efficient dev to completely revamp my website from the ground up with a brand new blog. I'm going to actually have a completely different mail list. Like all of that's coming in the next 2 months. I don't actually know when, but there is newness happening while convention season is happening. It's exciting.
Yeah.
I have no chaos. My life is chaos right now.
It's a good kind of chaos is something we approve of here for sure.
Change is hard and painful, but it's good for you.
Yes, and that's good because there may be some changes coming in this session tonight. Who knows?
Yes, I will tell you that Nisiana has taken her Baron's word very seriously that she needs to start dealing out some punishment rather than just healing people.
Mm-hmm.
So I have started looking up some of the cleric pain spells.
Yes, I'm waiting for the shooting range training montage video, which is going to happen at some point, where they're like, you just see the target with just like, 65 holes right in the center of the target, and everyone like nodding. Oh, anyway. But always a pleasure to have Jen with us, and also a pleasure, of course, to have Mr. John Helfers with us. And I'm just going to say one thing as a little bit of a tease, chat, which is that there may be some stuff afoot regarding John's presence on this channel in another form. I cannot say more about that yet, but it is something that you will be excited to find out about when I can announce it. So with that little bit of teased information,
are you a werewolf?
Say
yes.
Are
you bastard?
How are you, John? How's life in the universe with you? And who are you playing in the session tonight?
Well, things are good. Two things off of what Marie and Jen just said. I can't wait for Jen, her little halfling, to come into a room and I am the Deathbringer, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Totally destroy things. And then I just realized that if Marie had actually fallen out of the Citadel, there could have been this great thing. And happily, it didn't come to pass. It would have been hilarious if she'd landed on her rapier at the bottom. I would have survived the falling damage. My blade stabbed me right through the heart.
Stab.
I would like to debate your definition of hilarious, sir.
As she's falling, shot through the heart. And you're
see? Exactly. Luckily, that did not come to pass, but it would have been hilarious. But fortunately, that's not a thing. Yes, I am. John Helfers, I am or have worked with all these people here in some various capacity or capacities, sometimes multiple. And yes, people go check out Trent's GoFundMe because he just gets to do more awesome audio work. And I just reposted on Twitter how many people have bought some of the work that he's narrated, which is kind of impressive. It's like thousands of people. Like, come on. If everyone gave like $1, we'd be done already. Okay? That doesn't take much.
Yep.
Anywho, yes, I work for a certain gaming company that I'm not going to say the name of. We do BattleTech and Shadowrun and Leviathans and stuff like that, and it's all fun. I'm very excited about level 13. Yes, level 13 is awesome. I've been talking about it almost in my final form. Level 14 is when I think when Illyrian, my Starforged Aegis, hits what I consider to be their final form, which is going to be fantastic. But this level is pretty kick-ass too, no doubt. So, yeah, and our enemies list just keeps getting longer. It's crazy wherever we go, making friends and enemies at the same time. It's delightful. Can't wait for the next place where we're gonna, apparently lay waste to some building. I saw that cover, Arv. I saw that cover for Stonefire. That does not look good. Big boom.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Huge.
It's just how sometimes like the trailer doesn't have nothing in the trailer actually happens in the film.
I don't see us walking ahead of it in slow-mo. You know what I'm saying?
It's just the bear in Eberron. That's all. You run a kitchen and it's all fine. Like there's no, I'm sure that'll be just fine.
The last dozen sessions have been the bear. Yes,
been the bear.
Although we did get paid this last time, so that also kind of season 1, but we didn't have to go through tomato sauce to find it, so that's good.
That's right.
Just blood. Anywho, great to be here. Let's go.
Let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about what happened, chat, in our last session. But before we do that, I'm going to very quickly ask. I'll start with John.
Who was playing?
I mentioned Illyrian, Starford Aegis.
Yeah, you did.
I wasn't
it's
paying
not
attention.
Apparently,
I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention when that happened. I'm actually going to start with John because I want to hear what cool thing, if you can highlight what you got at level 13 that is cool.
Yes. I was going to sing one song, but then I recognized the artist who sang that song actually is a convicted child molester, so we're going to leave that alone. Anyways, Anywho, Illyrian can now fly. At any time he wants. I'm trying to hit.
I know the one you were going to quote.
Yes,
okay. Yes.
So we'll do fly like a Starforge instead from Steve Nolan.
Fly like a Starforge. Yeah.
There you go. Let my spirit carry me. It's perfect.
Yeah.
For some reason,
totally.
bestial mobility is not going on there. I don't know why, but yeah. Basically, I get to choose swim, climb, burrow, or fly. Big spoiler. I'm not choosing any of them but fly. So now, yes, I can now fly. Also, my spirit dice have become D10s, and I have 6 of them. So, yeah, that's going to be, like, super awesome.
It's good stuff. Unfortunately, he is now incapable of walking normally. So now he can only fly.
No, I just see Arm's going to make everything else is never going to happen in the air. We're just going to be walking everywhere.
Well, I was waiting for the submarine part of this adventure, like the underwater kingdom of blah blah blah. Yeah, Big Red says, "Choose swim, you coward." Cheers 100. Like, you won't. Oh man, I'm excited to see it. It's all good. Everyone who's always like,
if I'd run the Earth one, I think Burrow could have been kind of awesome, to be honest. That
Like-
could have been really cool.
like Starforge drill, like
right,
Pokemon
right,
chose
yeah,
drill.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like the guy was there a guy with a drill for a head? Who was that in a cartoon somewhere?
Yes, and there was also Mole Man who was not a drill, but who came from
right.
Oh, man.
Anyways, no, it's yeah.
So good stuff. I am excited to see Larian get to
pumped.
flying.
I'm just going to tell you, the wise people among us, I have taken 9 hit points, so I'm at 114.
114.
So there is one more thing, Arv, that I was
Sure.
reviewing my Aegis, and I've been mildly stacking the deck in my favor, which I'm going to stop doing.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I have always, I was under the impression that when I healed hit points, because my Aegis armor is tied to my hit points, that the armor would heal itself too. That is not the case. I need to repair it. So I'm going to stop doing that. The hit points are one thing, and then armor, when I get to 0, I can't unless I'm actually repairing that with self-healing, self-mending Aegis. So yeah, I've been playing it a little loose on that, so we're going to stop doing that.
All right. I appreciate your honesty about that, and I will make sure that
but my armor's at 57 points. I'm at 114. Okay. So let's go kick some ass.
All right. You also have a hero point as well, so I will add that to it. All right.
You know it.
Thank you. Good stuff. All right, Jen, Nisiana, you are next up as I work backwards. What awesome thing has Nisia, like double aura of life, like preemptively prevents death? Is that?
Well, I have access to 7th level spells.
Okay.
Which means I can conjure celestials.
Mm-hmm.
I have a thing called Divine Word, which I speak a word, and everybody who's an enemy who hears it, who has like less than 50 points, like this spell is insane. Like, and I speak it if an elemental fails a save, they're forced back to their own plane of existence.
Wait, hold on. Elemental, celestial, fey, or fiend.
Yeah, but elemental support that we need, because we've been attacked by many elementals.
This is true.
What is the divine word? Just so we know, is it something like?
It's currently in chat or in the thing.
No. I meant like
he's asking the word
itself.
It is a word that she speaks that.
Like redistribution. Everyone's like, oh no, not redistribution. Like that kind of thing.
Probably like,
I'm gonna say it's a secret word from Eberron.
Got it. Okay, that's fine.
Speaks a word that you hear it, but you cannot say it. It is a word that you probably wouldn't think would come from a small halfling.
I love the description, though, which is, it is imbued with the power that shaped the world at the dawn of creation. In case you were curious if we're moving into high-level play. And then she spoke the word, and it was good, and all of the enemies were smote.
Smote and fled before them. Yes.
I have access to resurrection.
Just, in case.
And the other one that I've put on my list of things, it's called Symbol, and it's very long.
Oh my god.
So it's lengthy.
What the hell?
But it also
does like 8 million things.
Yeah,
or the option of doing 8 million things.
It does many things, and it's really expensive, so I don't think I'll ever do it, but I wanted to remember that I had it. But I also wanted, I went back to some of my other things, and I went and I picked up, you know how I have heal?
Mm-hmm.
I now have harm. 14d6 on a failed save.
That's just a virulent
half if you make it.
disease.
So there you go.
Wow. Yeah. Good
And
stuff.
it's half that they make it, and it is, and it affects your maximum hit points and stuff like that. So, yes.
Yeah.
She now has some access to some harm spells, which I will start putting on my. Okay, I'm going to memorize this. Like if I know we're gonna go face the Lord of Blades,
You're loving that. Yeah.
Probably gonna pull out one of the big bad hurt people things, because I know they're gonna shoot me a lot.
Well,
anyway.
right. I was just about to say also, hi Classicor, if just at some point, if you're standing over, the body of the fallen Lord of Blades and you're just like, and now you will die. Like if you do that and your hands are claws, I'm just warning you. You know, you did this to yourself. Okay, if you start wearing cloaks and falling in love with blue lightning when you do this harm thing, you have no one to.
Does your clerics actually have access to blue lightning? That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
That probably won't be until after Mary May dies and Nisiana goes full dark mode, and then she takes vampiric healing. So they shoot her to hint, and she's like, "I'll take that health back, thank you."
Yeah, right.
And you're a heart.
Divine
out.
Very exciting.
My sister.
Yeah.
I didn't know your sister. Well, I blame you anyway.
You will now. I am excited to see all this unfold.
I will roll for my hit
Thank
points
you. In accordance with the prophecy, yes.
In accordance to the prophecy.
Flame
last
One
time
just
I will note
contacted us to tell us.
that I did roll a 1 last time.
There you go.
10.
There's the
see,
pendulum.
see. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, pendulum never swung back for me, so.
So I have actually, the last 5 rolls have been like 10, 10, 1, 10.
Fortune favors the brave and the
As soon as
bold.
you said 10-10, I almost went, yes.
Fortune. This is going to be no one is going to get this reference, but there was an old radio station like as a kid called 1010 Wins News that and it did this thing when it would like when they would do like news breaks, right? And when they would pop in, it would be like 1010 Wins News, and you hear this dun 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 dun. We bring you 10 minutes. You give us 10 minutes. We bring you the world. 1010 Wins News. So it was this. Yeah.
That's very familiar to me.
Yeah.
Well, the 10 minutes, you give us 10 minutes to give the world is kind of a standard thing for a long time.
Like, was that an East Coast thing? Because I did live on the East Coast.
It might have been. It was like always on AM radio, and I remember it vaguely. Like it stopped when I was like 6 or 7. I didn't, not much beyond that. But anyway, so I'm very excited to see all of that. So good stuff. Thank you for rolling the hit points in accordance with the prophecy. So you now have 113 out of 113, I believe that is. And you have 1 hero point. Very good stuff. All right, Rowan, I cannot wait, Brandon, to hear what awesome level 13 thing Rowan possesses. Can you now become a full Gundam? I want to make sure is that actually possible? Can you,
No, I cannot.
Well, okay.
A transformer? A transformer? Maybe we could do that.
Yeah. I think actually out of everybody, I actually have the least. I have done the least impressive thing at level 13 out of everyone on this team, which is I have 1 more spell.
Okay.
And that spell is teleport.
Well, I could see all kinds of good things. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finally, we have the means to just no longer be in hostile circumstances all the time.
So you can take multiple people?
Yes, I can take, if I recall correctly. Let's actually look at the text of the thing.
8 people, I think.
Me and up to 8 willing creatures that I can see within range.
Or a single object.
Or a single object. So someone needs to be holding the oracle, I guess, at any one point in time.
Can I note for a minute that every one of the players so far
It can't be held by a willing creature.
Yeah.
Unwilling. I'm sorry, an unwilling creature. Never mind.
But can I just note, okay, so Nisiana took Divine Word. That's fine. Have you noticed, chat, that Alarian, after a harrowing session in which they almost all fell to their death twice, Alarian can fly, Rowan can teleport. I look forward to Marame being like, I've gained Fall on Cloud feature where I just like land on a pillow. And then like Tanton's like, well, I've actually been working on a jetpack. Like, everyone is always fighting last year's war. I cannot wait. I can't wait for the moment that we're just like, wait, you mean we never fall anywhere again? Anyway.
Well, there's twice that we almost fell. So.
Yeah.
I know, I'm saying. But it's
I believe we're traveling on an airship very soon.
The trauma is real. Anyway, go on, Brendan. I'm sorry.
And do you remember the cats? Anyways, that's...
Oh, God. So, yeah, that is... At this point, teleport is to Rowan, teleport is the most useful thing anyone can do at this point. Because now we can say, oh, we've accomplished the singular goal that we're here to do, and we don't have to fight anyone. Let's just leave.
Yep. A destination you succeed must be the same plane of existence. Yeah. No, it's pretty slick. It's pretty slick.
I also look forward, obviously, to this going catastrophically in the way that wild magic can also go catastrophically, because I can only vaguely go one place so far, and And everywhere else is kind of moot. And even then, I still need to get a book from Halar's place to at least make that a given.
Okay, because you're thinking you can only teleport to Salvation specifically, or what do you mean?
Right. So technically, the rules as written, I could go anywhere I think of, but if it's a place I don't know very well, that goes poorly for me.
Did you say every single word? Well, I didn't say every single solitary word. But...
There is text in the teleport rules for if you want to teleport to a place that is actually not real, that like you misremembered a location and it actually doesn't exist. You are not doing that to me. When we get to Salvation, I'm borrowing a book from Alar's bookshelf.
Yeah, he has the most detailed map of all time. Like Rowan is just like, tell me again about this sewer. You're like, why you want to know? Just shut up. Tell me about the sewer. I want to know about the sewer.
This is the part where I ask non-jokingly, if for the purposes of having an object that makes a place familiar, I can just take a guy's clothes, like disrobe him and leave. But that's for after we have the conversation that we're planning to have.
Yes,
You're gonna
exactly.
start pensing people? Is that what's going on?
Exactly.
Dude.
Oh man.
I mean, he will willingly anyway. We'll
talk about more about that. All right. Are you doing? First of all, I love that. Are you doing the in accordance with the prophecy roll, or are you doing the week?
I have already taken the average 75. I am not having this conversation with you.
Joins the wisdom side. I believe it's now 3-2. Just saying, we have numbers on our side now.
Oh my God. Okay, 75 hit points, 1 hero point for Rowan. Tremendous. Marie, tell me that Marie has now gotten Flourish of Destroy Big Bosses or something. Like what is the cool thing you get at level 13?
It is the win at D&D with all your party.
With Flourish. It's the Flourish of win.
Yeah, it's a flourish. I just have to use it once, I think.
Party Flourish. There you go.
Yeah.
The whole party. Yes.
Party Flourish.
It felt overpowered, but I mean, it's right there.
You and up to 5 willing creatures you can see can flourish and win the game. That's right. Is that, yeah.
Okay, guys,
I'm
we
down.
practice this.
Yeah, it just becomes a line dance. Yeah.
Speaking of flourishes, I've been doing it wrong all this time. I wanted you to know this, Greg. So when I take the attack action on my turn, my walking speed increases by 10 feet until the end of the turn, okay?
Okay.
And if my weapon attack hits the creature, I can do a blade flourish, which we knew, but it is not a bonus action. It's simply part of my action. I've been using it as a bonus action.
Oh wow.
Right?
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So I just want you to know that there's going to be more stabbing.
Okay.
And I'm excited.
I see.
So much more stabbing.
More stabbing if I can find my sword.
I was going to say, if you can find her, I can make you a new one. It's fine.
No. We're gonna find it.
I've
already got the plan.
Following last time, where things seemed, I wouldn't say dire. No, I'd say dire.
Pretty dire.
I think that Nisiana and Merime had a bit of a chat, and we decided that the sisters should each take resurrection, so that if one or the other, or somebody else here gets killed, then we can actually bring them back because we would prefer to live. So I have also taken resurrection. We have doubled up on a spell. Nisiana taught it to me, actually.
I was going to say, do you have access to?
It's a bardic spell, believe it or not, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
It is bard and
cleric.
Bard and cleric. Okay, yeah. Wow.
I will sing you back to life, my friends.
Wake up, little Susie. Wake up.
Yes.
I thought it was gonna be something like, who wants to live forever? Like, I mean, you'd be more of the Highlander.
A little bit of Evanescence, wake me up inside.
Absolutely. with Tanton in the back going, can't wake up. Like, in the background.
Do I need to send you that song too?
Oh
friend?
God, that song is so good.
No, you do not.
You just had this look on your face like you're like, I don't know this song either.
Oh my
I
God.
have to say,
That is a great album.
I like the description of resurrection where they're like, you're gonna get, if you get any body parts lopped off, they come back, and you're like, I just like the visuals of Mérimée squishing on the floor at 1,000 feet on her rapier, yes, and then getting pieced back together by her sister. So it's good.
Whopped back together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yes, resurrection it is, and my telepathy now is up to 130 feet as well.
Very
So,
nice.
and
How about that now? Are you, in accordance with the prophecy, engaging in rolling for hit points as one should, or are you going to take the easy path, quicker, more dangerous, more seductive?
I'm now going to prove to you that your prophecy has been false all along, you false prophet. I am taking the easy route.
Don't go towards the
dark side of hit points, folks. Yeah.
So, 9. I'm adding 9 hit points, I believe is what I get. So I'm up to 147.
147.
That counts it.
Gravy.
I started listening to that song that you sent me, Brendan, and I had to turn it off because it's really awesome, the video. Well done, thank you. I was gonna swear and I decided no.
I figured you would enjoy that. I saw that video and I was like, half of this is not real. That is not.
The little bit I've heard was very real, my friend.
But okay, sounds good. 147, 1 hero point, and the ability to wake me up inside. Good stuff.
Wake me up inside.
Can't wake up. But thank you.
I think
Marie.
it actually should be Ilarion doing it. Can't wake up.
Just in the background. Can't wake up.
Tanton would be like, I'm having difficulty returning to consciousness. That's not the
You're like, that's not
lyric.
it. That's not the line. That's not the beat. All right, Tren. So
No
tell
improvising.
me, what is it that? So I assume Tanton can now make several new planes of existence or something.
He can make a gigantic automaton, like the big one that left the town.
He can make a Colossus, really?
Yes, absolutely.
I could do that anyway, but I can build a mech suit for Rowan if we want.
I just need my pistol to now become a rifle. That's all.
In line with that request,
Howitzer.
Tanton has picked just a Gatling gun that pops out.
Oh God!
He's gonna put arms on a tripod.
I think that would be really bad. Can you imagine putting a real gun on this and it just falls off of my? Nope, you don't want that to happen.
You just got to make sure you turn sideways so that it's otherwise the recoil will just tear your arm off every time it fires. It's like I have to fix it again.
Maybe a few minor adjustments.
Possibly. So Tanton has picked up one level 4 spell.
Okay.
Not really much else. The artificers don't really get a lot at level 14, 13, whatever. But the spell that he has taken is Fabricate. And basically he can, if there's a pile of iron ore nearby or a copse of trees. For example, when we were crossing over those bridges in the lava thing in the temple, he could theoretically just kind of pull rock out of the wall and make bridges, but I didn't have access to that spell, so couldn't do that. But I could take, for example, just a bunch of raw iron and make a rifle barrel out of it for Rowan.
Really? Interesting. Is it, and it has any when you make this stuff, I assume there are some limitations on what I can fabricate it into a +5 magical blah blah blah.
No, I can't make them magical. Well, not with Fabricate. I can make it magical with other things. But to read the exact text, it is so tiny. My eyesight's going because I'm old. Raw materials into the products of the same material, so it has to be the same material.
Okay.
Blah blah. Anyway, fabricate a wooden bridge from a clump of trees, a rope from a patch of hemp, clothes from flax or wool. Blah blah blah. Choose raw material that I can see within range. You can fabricate a large or smaller object contained within a 10-foot cube, or 8 connected 5-foot cubes. So like a bridge. And then given sufficient quantity of raw material. One of the big things is the quality of the object of the spell is commensurate with the quality of the raw materials, or transmuted by no. Creatures or magic items can't be created or transmuted by the spell. You also can't use it to create items that ordinarily require a large degree of craftsmanship, such as jewelry, weapons, glass, or armor, unless you have proficiency with the type of artisan tool needed to craft that object,
Okay.
which I do.
So two quick questions. One, how long does it take you to do that? Like does it give you...
Casting time is 10 minutes.
Okay, to fabricate. Okay, using that. Second, are you aware that you've now reached $1,500 on the GoFundMe thanks to Classicor, who has brought us the rest of the way to that little goal ahead? So you all have, for the session, just for today, you have an inspiration available to you. Thank you, Classicor. Thank you, Classicor.
But we each have one inspiration available to us?
Yes, you have an inspiration available to you now. Has been given to you because we reached the $1,500 level that I said. So
yeah, right up next on your character sheet, right up next to your strength score. There's a little dragon.
Yes. Thank you, Classicor. That was very kind of you.
Yes,
and again, can I just say, I put it into existence, and thanks to a couple of generous people, we got there and raised a little bit under $100, and just a little while to help out Trend with the GoFundMe. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate that.
On that level, we just need to do like a 96-hour stream, basically, and $100 an hour.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
problem.
I mean, I just am continually amazed at how generous this community is. So thank you, Classicor. I really appreciate that. I'm going to be meeting Classicor in person in August because that's when I'm doing my D&D event in the UK with my By the Dice Roll group that are all Europeans. And we have a few people, at least 4 or 5 people that are flying or coming to it because they live over there. A couple of Germans who are flying, one Belgian who's flying over. So it's very cool. And so I'm looking forward to that. So thank you, Classicor. Very kind of you. And awesome. All right. Trend, last bit, which is about hit points. Are you, in accordance with the prophecy, doing what must be done? I think I know the answer to this, but
I'm rolling.
Okay, yeah. See, that's
because I don't care what I get.
Right.
Which is like, but it's so. I don't care. I just was gonna.
The melee people seem to be the only ones.
Right.
But see,
9 points.
9 points. See. So,
nice.
All right. So that brings you up to 93.
We have one over Brandon too, who's not
really
in combat all that much. So yes.
So 93 out of 93 now, I believe. Trent, is that right?
If I had rolled just to shut him up. Oh, off the one. Yeah, sure, pal. Sure. Yeah, whatever.
And so Spanner comes up to 72.
And Spanner is at 72. Awesome.
And all of our proficiency bonuses are now +5 instead of +4.
Yes. Now, the reason I go over this is twofold, chat. One of the reasons is players always like talking about what their cool new stuff their characters can do, which is just true. I also like hearing about it myself. The other reason is that people are always like, geez, I don't know, Arf, like it's level 13. Like, let me remind all of you that this party has been within just a little bit, several inches of having a character fall to their death, of having another character, has been down multiple times. Nisiana being hammered, Rowan being at negatives before, like
covered in cats.
There's just there are a bunch of things that have happened, and at high levels,
all of us falling to our deaths. Thank you very much.
Right, the risks themselves have also increased accordingly because now the King's Citadel is not just making little sort of raids into small territories. Now they are literally trying to prevent nations from falling to war, and doing so with the prospect of dun dun dun, someone who might have betrayed them, which is a nice segue into what happened in our last session. I will mention to the players, by the way, that we will have, as a consequence of all this, I knew this was going to be the case, a shorter session tonight. We'll probably go about an hour and a half. I knew that would be the case. This was kind of a reset before it. But remember, chat, this is the last part of Season 4, Drums of War, is Stonefire. After this, we move into Season 5, and things are going to ratchet up even further. So be aware that that's what we're doing as we're going through here. So let's make it happen. Let's have to go. As long as Brandon doesn't turn anyone into a baby again, how bad can it get?
Rowan didn't turn anyone into a baby. Wild magic exploded.
Right. He's just the
middle. I just so happened to become a baby at the end result of that.
Right.
That was not my fault. I cast a spell. Everything else was not my business.
Just the messenger. If your inspiration's needed for tonight, take it. They may not be, Echo. We will see, but I appreciate the offer. What if the party's buried in cement? Well, we'll figure that out. Anyway.
If you fabricate solid cement while we're still in it, what happens to us?
How far into it are we?
Considerably well deep.
Then we will all be restrained, immobilized, paralyzed, and we will asphyxiate in a number of minutes equal to whatever your constitution bonus is.
Yep.
Can we
Cool.
not do that?
Or you'll
Right.
show
I would
up on
prefer
the
it that way. I was just answering
Yeah.
his question.
or you'll show up on the
Don't
bottom
breathe, I'll
circle
just
of
go-
Dante's Hell. That might
I'll
also
just go
happen.
gradually insane because I can't escape.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for that. So let's talk a little bit about what happened in our last session, chat. In our last session, which was very eventful. It was the ArvCon marathon session on a Sunday, and during that very extensive session, the party had a few things that happened to them. They are taking the Oracle of War to Thrain, which is a nation basically talking to the Keepers of the Silver Flame. Why are they doing this? Because they need to get this theocracy on board if they are going to be able to ward off several potential threats. Threat number one is the Lord of Blades, someone with whom the party is sadly intimately familiar at this point. The Lord of Blades is a threat in a way to all of the nations of Corvair, and so there is a great amount of pressure on the party to be able to head that off. The second threat, though, is the Emerald Claw. They were able to get into the Emerald Claw's enclave and to be able to get out Widmund, the interrogation of whom has proven valuable to gather some information, but there are still things left unaccounted for. What's going on, for example, with Arulin Karnak and all of that? What's going on with the potential, and this is the biggest part, the potential traitor within not necessarily the party's midst. I'm just going to specify none of the five of you are a traitor, okay? I don't want to play that game. But I'm going to be clear about that. But having said that, there is a traitor that may be somewhere, in the vicinity of someone that they might know, someone from Brayland or something like that, because there was clearly an assassination attempt that was made against the party as they were traveling on the Cerberus Sailor to go to Thrain to conduct this diplomatic talk. The party managed, after a free-fall combat, which was pretty exciting, and was also the beginning of the origin story for why everyone wants to have flying or teleport now. In the process of doing that, the party eventually managed to land without everybody dying, and then were brought up to the Arcane Congress's Flying Towers of Arcanix, the magic school, where they had a feast that was prepared for them. And it would have been all great if it weren't for the fact that there is another group of people, a threat I haven't mentioned today yet, but which is now a big deal as well, which is the Undying Court, a group of undead elves who have existed for so long that they can see basically a great deal of the movement of the future of the planet of Eberron, and have decided that the Oracle of War is too dangerous to be left in the hands either of the Emerald Claw, which would love it for its own purposes, or the Lord of Blades, who's trying to do it for his own nefarious reasons, their own nefarious reasons, and even for the King's Citadel, which is trying to hold on to it and do the best they can with it. The view of the Undying Court is that humans and mortal races in general are not capable of managing this thing, and so they're going to take it away. This didn't go over super well when Immoral Long Arrow, one of the major heroes of the Undying Court, walked in and basically said, "Give me the damn Oracle or I'm going to drop the Tower of Arcanix on the people below." And eventually the party ended up having to fight not only Immoral Long Arrow, but also the other sleeper agents that Immoral activated when he said the word Stonefire. But the party
Let it be said.
Yes.
Let it be said as a side note that we tried to be civil.
Yeah. Oh, no, they tried.
Let it be acknowledged.
I want it
Exactly.
noted for the record.
Yeah, no, for sure. And as Triffitt points out, they are massive jerks. Like, there's no doubt about it. So the party ended up having a very epic battle in this control center of Arcanix, in which they battled Immoral Long Arrow and a group of others. Eventually, Merime had the idea of maybe I should try to smash the glass sort of bottom that looks below, then decided maybe that isn't a great idea. And then after defeating Immoral Long Arrow, the glass literally, I think the next round, did smash, and Merime ended up falling through it, catching on just barely. Rowan attempts to save Merime. I believe Nisiana came over at one point and tried to do some stuff as well. A group of people came and tried to save Merime, and eventually, of course, Solarian was able to pull Rowan and Merime out. barely. They were only barely able to survive, but they were in the end successful in doing so. But it left us with a number of unanswered questions, and these are some of the things we're going to look at today. So before we get to the opening little segment of this, I want to just talk about legacy events. I want to ask if the party has any of the following legacy events. Does anyone have the legacy event Dark Lanterns Flicker?
That is not on our list.
Is not on your list. Okay. All right. That, by the way, I will tell you, might have been related to an assassination that the party helped thwart. I won't talk about which one, but that's something you would have gotten if that hadn't happened. How about Flamewind's Favored?
Yes,
Yes.
Marimé.
Okay. Marimé is Flamewind's Favored. That'll be important.
That is
How about Mark of the Sphinx?
yes.
Yes,
All
party
right.
wide.
Thank you. What about...
Is that party-wide? I don't think I have that. That's
Well, it says-
party-wide
my
free
notes-
one?
no,
My
that...
notes.
If it's
Mark of the Sphinx, I have Marimé jotted down for that.
Yeah. What it means is that basically one of you, and I thought it was actually Sky Blue, is given an amulet by Flamewind. And because Flamewind thinks that Sky Blue is really important, we've talked about that before. So that's called Mark of the Sphinx. Flamewind's Favored is different. That's a different thing.
Well,
And
yeah, Mark of the Sphinx. I have written down party wide, comma, Sky
Yeah.
Blue to win.
It just is something which happened, which will have an impact on all the party. Rowan, you would not have this marked because you weren't with the group, I don't believe, at that particular time. So that's although, wait a minute though. By the time we went to Sharn, no, I guess when did you, no, because it was when they went back to Salvation that they met with
Yeah.
you. So yeah, you wouldn't have that. Okay. But so far we have Flamewind's Favored, which is Marimé, and Mark of the Sphinx for the party. Silver Torch Extinguished.
No.
Okay. That also is related to something you managed to thwart at another part of the adventure. And the last one is Wing and a Prayer.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Condition. Circumstances are this. That's all I've got written down.
Yep. Wing and a Prayer. Okay. That is going to be important as well. I will also point out for the record that the original version of this, obviously I've modified this quite a bit because the party has done different cool things, so I've modified it accordingly. But the original version of this was done by our good friend Rich Lescouflair, who is the one responsible for Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, which is another campaign I run on this channel, and is one of the people at Alligator Alley that is putting out Greyshade. So just letting you all know it's a small world is basically what I'm saying. Okay, let's talk a little bit then
Terrible ride.
about it. Yeah, exactly. So it is midnight, and it is midnight of the night after this epic battle took place. All of you are either sleeping if you need it or resting, meditating if you don't, specific to Alarian. Bye-bye, Big Red. You don't get buried in cement. Amen. Have a good weekend. And thank you, Class Score. So all of you are either asleep or meditating or at rest, except for one person, and that is Rowan Shallow. Rowan, you are awoken. There was a note that you may remember that was waiting for you. Do you remember the basics of that note that was on your bed when you returned at the end of last session?
I remember receiving it. I do not remember what the text read.
Okay. Essentially, it said to await a contact from the head of the House of Shadow. It is House Thorani is the House of Shadow, and this is specifically Kendall de Thorani, who is the head of this house. Rowan, chat, for those of you who don't know, you should look at our past VODs if you want to know more about this very extensive adventure, but this person knows Rowan from the past and has actually summoned Rowan to speak to them in the past. So this note basically was waiting for Rowan. And so, Rowan, I guess I have a question about that, which is that the note was just for you. No one else would have seen it. Would you... It didn't say, like, come here at this time. It just said, be ready for a communique, basically. So are you going to, I don't know, like, sleep in preparation for this? Are you just going to, like, stay awake? Are you going to rig up your room with a bunch of traps? Like, what is Rowan's reaction, I guess, to the note, is my question.
So here is a thing that needs to be qualified now that I remember who wrote the letter.
Okay.
The person that I last spoke to was actually a Fjarlan, not a Thuran.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I beg your pardon. Not Thorani. I looked at the wrong one. That's right. Fjarlan. Yes. Sorry. My bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Apologies.
cool. Right. It doesn't have a time.
It does
I
not have a time.
think-
Yeah.
Hey. I think I just go. I think I just head towards that room.
Okay. Well, it doesn't give you a meeting place. It says that you will be contacted, and the impression you get is like very soon. But you don't know that.
I know. I know that, and
Okay.
I'm still like, either they're in the room, at which point I will knock and we will have the conversation,
Okay.
or they're not in the room, which is a wonderful opportunity to see what's in the room.
Okay, but keep in mind, now remember though, this isn't a flashback. You're in Arcanix right now, so there's no room for Fjarlan.
Right. Yes. Right. I'm not. I haven't gone back to the thing. I'm still okay.
Right.
Cool. Right. With this in mind, can you remind me what the rest of the state of Arcanix is like at the moment?
So one of the towers have been stabilized. There was one tower, which was not the one you were in, that tipped, and there were a number of people that actually fell to their deaths from that tower, sadly. But there's some mages, basically students at the school. But that's it. Everything is now stable. There is no more threat to the people below. Merime is still missing her rapier, but we'll talk more about that after this discussion. So the state of Arcanix is, everyone is kind of, still kind of like, jittery, but there is no threat at the moment that's evident to anyone else other than just everybody's on edge because of the attack that just happened. So.
Okay. Well, okay, with all of that being said, I guess I'm just idly going for a walk. Like, the secondary goal of no longer being in my room is that I don't want other people to potentially witness that conversation is taking place as much as possible.
Okay.
So if I'm going to be accosted, I'd rather be accosted as far away from the rest of the group as possible.
Sounds good. Is there a place that you would, and I know you don't know the layout of Arcanix particularly, but is this the kind of thing where you'd like to be on a, like a kind of like a observation room, like looking out at the land below, or a balcony, or do you want to be in a cafeteria? Like, where do you want to go, basically?
My path, my go-to series of locations would be first to a mess hall or wherever the social space would be present on Arcanix. And then secondly to wherever I think is the most unattended room where I can steal something.
Okay. So the place that is the closest to a mess hall basically is the room where you that had hastily been set up as a dining room, which is where that first Emerald showed up and you had that first attack you had to deal with. So once you go back there, you're able to, there's still a fair bit of the food sort of lying around because it's not been, not like it's perfectly usable and edible. It just hasn't been like moved or shifted anywhere. So you got your classic cold chicken, cold pizza, whatever type of thing, right? And then as far as like where there's all kinds of places where you could try to steal things, but as far as the least attended, there is a room on one side of this Tower of Arcanix, and that is basically kind of like a small little observation chamber. There are there's a telescope. There's a desk in the room. There's a telescope which sort of looks out this glass window that is curved, so it's almost like a bubble that you're sitting in. You've got the desk, you've got this telescope, and you also have a number of things like there are several stacks of books. And there's one particular thing that's interesting, which is they have a piece of parchment with a quill that whenever you write on the parchment with a quill, you can write, and then by tapping the quill on the parchment, the writing disappears and you can write a new page, and magically the page that you've just written on is replicated and appears next to you. So basically it's like you only have a single page, but it will continue to automatically produce notes for you, essentially, that you could gather together without having to bring a bunch of paper with you to write on. it will produce paper magically as you continue to write on it, essentially. So that is very unoccupied at the moment. Everyone is back in their rooms and or probably getting drunk somewhere, trying to forget everything that just happened. So yeah, that would probably be the place where you could, the desk has some drawers you could try to unlock. There might be some cool stuff in there, that type of thing.
Before I attempt, is the window facing Salvation?
I would say Salvation would be, maybe. It could be. It's obviously you can't see it from here. You're too far away. But yeah, it probably could be in that direction because there's several of these type of rooms. So sure.
Mm-hmm. Because you said there was a telescope in the room. I think I will idly see if I can see Salvation from here.
Okay. Just to see. There, it is dark. Now, obviously, it's dark outside, so you'd have to see what lights are there, and there are definitely some lights around. Make a perception check for me, actually, Rowan.
Yeah, perception. $12?
Yeah. There are definitely some lights that you see as you look through the telescope, and as you aim it in the sort of approximate area, direction of Salvation, you think there you can see several glowing lights in that, sort of in the very far distance. Could it be Salvation? It could be, but you also might be looking into the distortion of the Mournland. You're obviously not in the Mournland right now. You're not in the gray, but you'd have to look through it in a way to actually, see where you're going. It could be that. It could be, an airship flying by. It could be any number of things. But it does seem to be a few lights that are sort of in that direction. And as you're sort of looking into the telescope, you suddenly are aware that although there are lights in the telescope, there do not seem to be lights in the room that you were sitting anymore. And as you sit at the desk, the room itself has grown dark, pitch dark.
I cast light.
Make an Arcana check for me.
Okay. $15.
You do not cast light. You attempt to cast light, but something has suppressed it. You are aware, though, that the something which is suppressing it is local to this room.
Am I aware that it was in the room before it went dark, or that it entered the room?
You don't know about that. Well, when you walked in the room, it was normal light. It was magically lit. There's a ever-glowing lantern that's on the wall. But you can't see that ever-glowing lantern now. You certainly were not aware of any presence until something is suppressing it now.
There are more interesting ways to get someone's attention than darkness,
And there's a pause, and then you hear, "You may be right. But in this case, I am coming to you from some distance, and I do not wish to be noted by the fine people of Arcanix. I would have thought, Rowan, that you might wish to spend your time with some other than these dilettantes. Your magical power is considerably more than a bunch of people with white beards and old robes."
I will also add they're not very available company, which is why I was kind of hoping that I would be offered the opportunity to unwind after quite a trying few hours.
We have heard. It seemed indeed that you had been spending your time actively. And you see outside the bubble glass, you are suddenly aware of a of a form. It is the form of a medium humanoid figure, but lit in a kind of bluish green. And the form, as you look at it, is slightly insubstantial, almost like it's wavering a little bit. But having said all that, you can definitely make out what the form is, and it does indeed look to be like the form of Tanith de Fjarlan, who was the one that had spoken to you before from the House of Shadow. And Tanith is just, this form is just floating there on the other side of the glass.
Hello there. I take it you're safer than I've been?
Well, safer is a relative term. Let us say that attention has not been paid to me. For you, on the other hand, and your companions, much attention is being paid now. You've not been very quiet lately, Rowan.
Through other faults than our own. Suffice it to say that no one is willing to be gentle in their approach to the core problem of the Oracle in the first place.
That's true. The Oracle itself is a wild card. I do not like wild cards. I do not like things I cannot know the root of. I do not like the things I cannot be certain and predict their movements. Or perhaps I should say, there is one wild card I appreciate. But I only have room for one, Rowan. And that, of course, is you. You know that since you've arrived with this group, that there has been a great deal of disruption. You do tend to have that effect on people.
I do. It's typically not so messy, but I can deal with a little bit of mess.
Are you planning on staying with them?
You ask that question and it actually does strike Rowan dumb for a moment. And then Rowan goes, if you had asked me this question 4 days ago, perhaps, the answer would have been no. And even now, I'm not sure if the answer has changed because I like or trust these people more, or because the job that they're doing is so dire that I can't trust anybody else.
That seems reasonable. I'm glad, then, that you would remain with them for the moment, because remaining with them will make it easier to do what I request. You realize, Rowan, that the fate of your own existence is never entirely been in your own hands. You are a gambler by nature, but you realize that nature has gambled with you over and over again. That will continue, and at some point, your luck is likely to run out.
It's run out before.
Yes. The last time it cost you an arm. This time, it would cost you your life. You're treading on dangerous ground here, Rowan. And I like you, so I don't want you to slip and fall. I'm come to make a proposition.
Yes.
Of all of the members of the group with which you travel, you are the one that is, as I've said, least predictable, the wild card. And yet your past and those that would use your past against you remain. I am prepared to make that past a blank, to eliminate the threats you face, to stop the pursuits. I am, in short, prepared to grant you a new beginning. It can be a new beginning with this group of friends if you wish, or it can be a new beginning anywhere else, in Sharn perhaps, in another continent, another country, another continent perhaps, if you so choose. If you are willing to engage with this proposition, I can wipe the slate clean, and I can do so without taking away your right to determine what happens after this point, if that is of interest to you.
I will say this much. Gambling has taught me two things very well. The first is that when you've been dealt a bad hand, and I'm actually lifting my arm as I say that, the mark of a good gambler is not whether he can get a better one, but how he plays this hand and still wins. And second, it's no fun if everyone just clears the ante and sets the game back to the beginning. At the moment, it would seem like this hand called the King's Citadel is due for quite a haul. But I need to cash in first. Let's have that conversation after that happens.
I see. What would that look like, the cashing in? How long will it take for you to know?
I want to see that this Lord of Blades business is done, not because I may or may not be of the King's Citadel, because I might not even know the answer to that question. But because very briefly it had to do with salvation, and that rankles me. So I'm going to ensure that it's done so it can never deal with salvation again. Whether I'm still a member of the King's Citadel after that is a matter between me and the King's Citadel, and when we get there, the two of us shall speak.
I see. Salvation is important to you, isn't it, Rowan?
It is.
Why does this backwater village, composed of thieves and con men and grifters and prospectors in the last act of their lives, why, Rowan, would you choose this as the place to care about?
There are so many other places on this god-forsaken continent where people get to live their final lives in glee or peace or calm, and salvation has never been one of those places. I hate that you can say those things, but those things are true. Salvation is a broken place. But the people who live there don't deserve that. They don't deserve for Breland to literally cast a shadow over the places where they eat and sleep. They don't deserve for their streets to suddenly be lit on fire by Warforged who don't actually care a whit about any of them, who are only there because briefly for a time an object that they cared about was in a box somewhere, in a room somewhere in one of those houses. Put another way, why do you care about the rest of this continent?
It's my job to care about the parts of the continent no one else sees. It sounds like it's your job to care about the parts of the continent no one cares about. and of all the places on this, as you said, God's forsaken continent that people don't care about, salvation is the highest of these. So in a way, I respect your appreciation for it. But Rowan, salvation will be taken from you and from those people. Not by me, but by forces that you yet do not see. You have a traitor in your midst, Rowan. Someone whom you know, who will betray that town, and who will betray most of Corvair. When the moment comes, you must be ready. You must be ready to do what is needed. I would have given you the chance or the power to do that. But if you will turn down my proposition for reasons I respect, then I leave you just with this warning. Perhaps you can trust the members of the King's Citadel, but you can trust no one else. I have spent my life in the shadows, and I know when more of them are gathering. Watch your back, and be careful. We'll speak again, perhaps.
One question before you leave.
All right.
Not the most helpful, but I'll ask it anyway. Say there is someone I shouldn't trust, and to be fair, I've lived a state of lacking trust in others for quite some time. Surely you can assure me now why that person isn't you.
An excellent question. You can't know for sure. But if I were a traitor, I could have at any moment eliminated you and all of the members of the King's Citadel. I could have done this and did not. In the end, I do not wish to see this world descend into war. I do not wish to see my house leveled as it was in the past. The only one you can trust in a world of shadows is a shadow maker, and I am the greatest of these. Get some rest, Rowan. You look tired. And then the sort of darkness dissipates, and you see just a little image of green and blue light out the window before that vanishes again.
Do I mean, this is a silly question to ask, but I'll ask it anyway. Do I get the impression that anything that he said gives away any information about who this traitor might be?
Give me a figure shut out roll. No, wait.
Wow. Wow.
Can I have a do your job? No. Can I have an? Let me ask you to do an insight roll. Actually.
Mm-hmm. 10. Nope. I'm spending my inspiration. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hey, listen. That's what it's here for. Let's go. Don't forget, you have a hero point you could add on to it too, depending on what comes out here.
Use everything.
17.
17. I swear I'm not telling you this because I'm telling you should use it. Do you want to use your hero point first? I swear to God, I'm not doing that to make it be like, you should.
I'm just going to use the hero point. I'm just going to use the hero point.
I wasn't trying to push it. I swear to God.
Do it.
That's what again? 1d4?
No,
D6.
1d6, right?
D6. Yeah.
It's an automatic 20.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
So that's
So-
23.
Yes, Rowan, there are a couple things you think that came out of this conversation. Number one, the first time that you had a conversation with Fjarlin, you got the impression that Fjarlin was very much on the I'm feeling you out to see what I can offer you to make things. Thank you for the resub, Drew. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who came in, by the way. I really did not want to take a moment to be like, hey, I wanted to keep that going. So thank you, everybody. Rowan, you so the first time you talked to Fjarlin, you got the impression that Fjarlin was feeling you out to get a sense of what would be necessary to buy your loyalty, right? Like, how could they get you working for you? You got the impression this time, for two reasons, that this seems like it's much more serious and much less specifically targeted, by which I mean there's clearly manipulation going on, but it did not have the feel to you of, hey, how can I buy you? You get the impression that there was genuine worry coming from Fjarlin on this. And the reason you know that is not just because of the tone of voice and the way in which they were discussing things with you, but the fact that they engaged in a very dangerous bit of magic here. Remember, they're doing this next to Arcanix, maybe the greatest magic school in all of Corvair. This is very, very risky to put a projection or a sort of a telepathic, it's a great act of communication, but it's also very dangerous to do this. And it's hard to imagine how they could do it if they didn't feel like it was extremely important that they do so, which means that you think that Fjarlin is genuinely worried about a threat. The question is what the threat is, and this might be the most disturbing part. There is a traitor in your midst, Fjarlin said. You're almost positive Fjarlin doesn't know who the hell that is.
Cool.
Except side
that's what I
note-
suspected.
Yeah, except side note, as the DM, I'm specifying it is not one of the five of you. I'm just saying that, because I don't want to play that game. I'm just saying. Yeah,
I
no,
was
know.
briefly suspecting myself, so thank you for clarifying.
No, I saw Trend doing that. Like, it's me. I'm like, no, I'm not playing that game. But anybody else is fair game, theoretically. Thank you, Prince Justin, for the tier 2 sub, 49 months. Thank you. Hi, Prince Justin. Good to see you.
Anybody
to
else
be
is fair
sure.
game?
Arv, what if it's all of us?
It's true. What if I'm the traitor?
Make a traitor, Voltron.
Well, by
It's
virtue of the
traitor.
GM, you are the traitor already. Yes, that's,
Right. So, okay. To GM clarification.
Yeah.
When you say that it is someone that we know, you mean specifically that it is someone that the King Citadel has heavily interfaced with in the performance of their duties, and not a secondary character that they've spoken to.
Yes, although I want to be careful about the heavily interfaced part. I mean, it's how much you've interacted with this person is not clear to you, but it's not just like, like montage cut to third guard from the right in the ribbon shop in Sharn or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that guy. It's not something incredibly obscure. It is a well-known figure to you, although what that well-known figure is different. So I just want to be careful not to push anyone in a particular direction, which is why I'm hesitating a bit about the interface part, because it's a figure that is known to all of you.
Okay. With all of that being said, is everyone asleep?
Except for Alarian, who's meditating.
Yep. Well,
Cool.
Or we're doing whatever Alarian does. I don't know.
oh, believe me, I have some
Watching Netflix. I don't know.
I go to Tantan's room.
Okay.
Mia Tantan, are you asleep?
No.
Good, grand. I'm glad I didn't wake you. We are in a bit of a pickle. And I'd rather talk to you about it.
What? Am I still dreaming? Are we literally in a pickle?
No.
You mean like
Good
the
Lord.
or the brine?
Blink a couple times. I need all of your faculties for a moment.
Oh, so we're still at the university. with the faculty. You got it. Right.
Good lord. Mia Tanton of the House of Kenneth. We almost got blown up in the air. Do you remember that happening? Are you?
Well, of course I do. Yes.
The synapses are firing. Cool.
They're getting there, yes.
Yes, a friend did that.
I think that paladin was a friend of mine.
Fair enough. What I mean to say is, there is at least a singular mole still in the operations of our work against the Lord of Blades. You know more of these figures than I do. I need to know from you, on a continuum of most to least trustworthy, how possible is it that someone that you've interacted with is the reason why we are on the back foot so often?
Well, if I'm being truthful, which I am, I would say that the likelihood is about, I think the measurements actually go this high, but I would say about 273%. It's too commonplace to hear that someone is near us, someone that necessarily a friend, like you said, but someone who's acting against us, who is in our circle, not in our, you know what I mean. Very likely, I would say.
Right. Of the two instances that I've witnessed so far, a Warforged who was in the service of the Brailish army and spoke very kindly of and to you all the very last time we spoke, nearly lit Salvation on fire. And then we plummeted to the earth from yet another airborne vehicle. I'm going to ask you a very stupid question, and you're going to confirm for me that it is in fact stupid. What are the chances that your handler is a nasty person?
King?
Well, the king doesn't know where you are at any given moment, but I'd like to assume Halar does.
And his expression shifts from kind of a, yeah, with it.
The only person who's known every single one of our whereabouts every single time. And yet, is also personally responsible for sending us on these errands in the first place, which is why it strikes me as silly. But what if, again, overthinking here, confirm for me that I am an idiot. The goal is to always ensure that the Oracle is in a place where it can be intercepted. And where just plausible deniability.
See, the problem is that those two words are extremely dangerous. I don't mean plausible deniability. I mean the words, what if?
Indeed.
He would probably be the most devastating person to wind up in being someone working against us. Him or the king. He has the connections and the ability to move quite freely. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to tell you that it's silly, because it's just too, just barely too possible. Not probable, but possible.
Now that I've successfully advocated for the devil, this is a part where I do the nice thing and assume that you all are capable and not so easily trusting people who I can believe have some manner of buttress against naivete that they wouldn't fall for something so simple.
Depends on
if it weren't Halar, Given everything that you've just assessed, who else could possibly come so close as to ensuring that we're on an airship moments before it catches flame? Because if it's no one, then you need to grill Halar.
So there are other options.
Who?
The 12. Special.
Well, they know
barracks.
everything, and there's not much that we can do about that other than light the entire institute on fire. Unless, of course, you're assuming that there's a singular member of the institute that we should trust the least, of which a name comes to mind, seeing
Barracks.
it as it's the name that was uttered aloud in front of us while we were there. Well, the name of their kin, but still. Is there anyone else in the 12 that you trust?
That I trust.
And trust less?
Oh, yes. Well, Merrick's is at the top of that list.
Figured. Who's third?
I can't remember the Baron's name. The one who leads the House of Transport.
I know very little about the houses. I know about where I sleep. But noted. This is the part where the GM just confirms that Tati already knows the answer to the question.
But no, don't know what you're talking about. Not in any way. Talk amongst yourselves. You are referring to... No, that's the wrong thing. No, it isn't.
You know, the Guild of Stevedores. Whoever runs that.
No, I mean, I know the issue is the person that you would have been in contact with, which was... hang on a second. Okay. Right. Right, which would have been Baron Dorian, because it's the House of Passage, is the one that would have been. So, yes.
Because they helped us in Sharn getting the Oracle moved about. They know we have it.
And Cerberus, by the way, that whole thing is from that house, and also the House Lorandar as well, which is the House of Storm. Those are the two that are connected to this. Sorry about that. Continue, please.
It's all right. Thank you, whoever you were.
The narrator retreats from the room.
Sometimes Eberron loves us.
Hurries away.
Okay. Right. I'm telling you this because I'm not sure of the constitution of the rest of the group.
That's not the end of my list.
Aha, noted. Continue.
The other person that I sometimes worry about is Sky Blue.
The kid?
Would you suspect her?
I wouldn't suspect her of anything at all.
Perfect.
Why?
Because
just being curious is not actual motive.
No one would suspect her. It's the perfect device. The whole trope in is people who write stories that they use bizarre tropes, memes, whatever the term is. The worst possible thing, the person you least suspect is very often the criminal or the murderer. It's who is the person who could do the greatest amount of damage because we don't suspect them.
Yes.
Sky
fair.
Blue is on that list.
True. Noted. And we're not going to take Sky Blue off the list. But for Sky Blue to gain more credibility than everyone else you've already named, there's one obvious element. The element that separates the trope that you've just described from cliche. Why would she do it? Even if we cannot surmise that she would be so motivated, what is the most likely possible reason that she could be so motivated?
She's a thief.
I'm a thief. You know how I get less gold? If people die before they can give it to me.
So maybe she's not getting it from us. Perhaps she is being very well paid to put us, or at least to tell people where we're going to be. We may not be the source of that income.
That's actually arguably worse, because it means that it's possible Sky Blue doesn't even work for the Lord of Blades. She just works for another idiot. Fair enough. I guess we have work to do. I'm telling you this because I don't trust the constitution of the rest of the crew. I like them all, but I'm pretty sure that Nisiana would be very emotionally overwrought about it. Marame would be very emotionally overwrought about Nisiana's overwroughtness, and Ilarion would probably just turn into a large Gatling gun and start tearing through everyone that we've just mentioned. Which would be fun to look at, to be sure, but doesn't solve our problem.
Well, it could,
if we need to be
who he hits first.
Which is the other more interesting thing. We want to work as much as possible as if we don't know what we've just discussed. We want this traitor to be in play as often as possible, not only because it makes it easier for us to determine whether this is in fact the traitor, but because if they know we know, that makes everything more difficult and will probably put us in a situation that's more dire than jumping into the air like the last time. And I don't want to have to do that again, so as secretively as possible, do you think that we can engage in some espionage? You know these people better than I do. I very well can't rip them off. I'm pretty sure if I tried to con Halar right now, he'd see right through it. You can.
Not that good at I build things.
Do you sell the things you build?
At a fair price, yes.
Cool. A con is just marking it up.
Which would not be a fair price. And it's not about the price.
Hold your morals still for a moment so someone doesn't stab you in the back. That's all I ask. Have a good night, and I leave.
And Tanton looks over at Spanner, who's just sitting there, looking pristine. It's like, maybe you should be on the list. And he goes back.
Fade out scene just on Spanner's face. Like just
as the eyes slowly turn red.
Yeah. What's up, Wispy? Welcome, everybody. Those who have come in since we started this awesome session, day 58 of D&D with Infinity Beyond, Eberron, Oracle of War, Stonefire, with the amazing players of Trent Sparks, Marie Bilodeau, Brandon O'Brien, Jennifer Brozick, and John Helfers. Straight into my veins, this stuff. Sign me up. Straight into the veins. I love it. All right. I want to ask, as the next morning arrives, what Marame, Nisiana, and Ilarion might be doing, and then we're going to move things.
And now we're having another one?
We're going to move things ahead.
Different
A different morning. The refall of Seer. God damn it.
Nisiana is requisitioning certain reagents for spells.
Okay. Nisiana, I want to note something about that. When you were requisitioning these reagents, as I said, and in case Chad is curious, some of these are quite expensive, but they're being provided mostly gratis by the Arcane Congress, which, as I said, was not joking around about being both very grateful and also wanting these people the hell off of their school because they want the Oracle of War out of their school. Nothing personal, but they are trying to help. However, Nisiana, it's noted to you, it's told to you, as you're getting these things, that reagents have become increasingly difficult to get. And that is because as the nations ramp up to war, the trade routes that make it easier to be able to pass, for example, diamonds from one country to another, or particular kinds of mineral deposits and things that are used. As that becomes more, as the trade routes become more tenuous, as everyone starts to kind of draw into their own borders, as everyone starts to pull back, it makes reagents more difficult. And the provisioner who's kind of giving you this stuff at one point points out that Arcanics, he says, may float above the rest of the world, but we are as affected as anybody else by what happens on the ground. And so you're able to get your stuff, but this is very much this ain't going to last forever. Things are getting risky as far as getting magical components.
Right. And I mean, if necessary, I will trade some of the gold that we got.
Yeah, they don't want to, they're not like being like, so give us money because we're jacking up prices. They're just, he sort of points out to you that like they're concerned about their own stock and store as well. I am not the NPC merchant chat that while the world is in trouble is like, I'll give you a discount. How about you give it to me for free, bastard? Anyway. So
to be specific for me,
yeah.
I would like the 1000 GP diamond.
Yeah.
2 of them, one for me, one for Merrimack.
Yeah.
And actually the Heroes Feast Bowl.
Yes. Okay.
If they have that,
well,
those are the 2 that I'm looking for, because I don't think there's anything else that I need that has.
The first one, the Heroes Feast Bowl, I don't know that they'd have access to that right now. You could probably like try to requisition it, and then they could get it, but I don't think they have it just close to hand. The other thing, those reagents they can provide you, and I should point out that that was in addition to the fact that they gave you all money. This is a fairly significant gift, like that you're getting.
Well, I was going to plan to like offer them money.
Yeah, no, they don't take that. They are very grateful to you. So
that is basically what I am doing and having conversation. So I would like to, as we said, put in the order for the Heroes Feast Bowl.
Yep.
I know that Mia Tantan has asked for the portable hole multiple times from multiple people, but I will just sort of sprinkle that into the conversation because I did not want to forget that.
Right.
I have not remembered anything that Rowan wanted, so I know he wants more money. I'll just give it to him.
Not have to deal with this crap.
He wasn't supposed to be in this way.
I'm not even supposed to be here.
But yes, that's what I'm doing, and I'm being very polite about it.
Okay. Maramay, what about you?
I would like to, I know that my sister, because we'd already discussed it, will be looking if she can get us the diamonds needed for, and I would like to see if I can get my rapier back,
so
or
how
some
do you,
kind of weapon.
Right. So what do you, well, some kind of weapon they can do. Getting your specific rapier back. Then they can get you a weapon. B, they can get you a rapier. C, if you want to get your rapier, we have to talk about that, since it did plummet through a hole 1,000 feet to the ground below. Along
but it
with
has
a bunch
my
of
notches on it.
Yeah, no, sure. Fortunately, you have my find my rapier on it, so it's just bing, bing, bing.
I put an Apple tag on it.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on.
Funny you should mention that.
So yeah, that's going to be harder. It doesn't mean it's impossible, but it's going to be harder. Although I know that Alarian has a pitch on how to do this, and I'll come to Alarian about that in a minute. In the meantime, they can give you a what would be essentially a masterwork rapier. It's not magical. It is, however, exceedingly well crafted. And they are again willing to give you this. I've now mentioned multiple times how much the Arcane Congress is grateful that you saved their whole school from collapsing. So they are very happy to do this. They also tell you that they will try to figure out how to find the rapier. They basically say they have no doubt they'll be able to do it, but it may take a little while to do, partly because a lot of the ones that they have that would be using like scrying spells and so on are currently searching for the lost and or the dead. The ones that fell to the ground below when Emerald was doing his thing. So there's that.
Whatever priorities. I would take their pretty but boring rapier, and I would thank them, though I would not say that. And then I believe I would try to find Tantan at that point to see if he can make it pretty and cooler.
Okay.
Um,
As you're doing that,
because-
then Alarian, are you doing anything? I'm coming to you because I don't know if you had some plan, Merame rapier plan or something.
I do, but first, so my request from the mages is, can they recharge? Which is simple. Can they recharge my cube of force? I need 3 charges on it.
Right, and it has 0 at the moment.
No, it has 4.
It has 4.
Total of 7. I used 3. I
Right.
want it back up to full, if possible.
They can give you a charge.
I'll take it. Okay. Yes, and then, last night, Arv, if about that time, if Rowan had knocked on my door, I would not have been there. I'm assuming our rooms have windows, right?
Yes.
Or a balcony or something. Doesn't matter how big they are.
An
Because I
open
went-
balcony exposed to the ground below. Absolutely. No, no, they
Doesn't
have
matter to
windows.
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Actually,
It's true.
makes a difference if the window's large enough for me to get out of, because I would have gone on a long night flight.
Interesting. I don't know that the
Because-
window opens. I think the window is probably closed to the outside. It's sort of like I was describing that bubble before. It would be
I
like
would just
that,
go
except
then
flat.
find some balcony and take off from there,
Yeah,
because
could
it
do
has
that.
been too long since I have been close to the stars, and I needed to get out there, especially after what has happened recently. So that's like literally an hour, just out in like high, really high up.
Give me a perception check, please.
Sure. Character perception. Well, it's doing doubles. It'd be 11, unfortunately. I meant this. There we go.
Yeah, you have just some general. I mean, the their winds are very calm right now. In fact, the whole thing seems calm, as if it's taking a breath after the events of the last day or so.
And to be fair, I'm probably exalting this too much to really not be paying attention to my surroundings. Because
Yes.
it's been so long.
It's a beautiful starlit night, and you can see many of them. You might even see perhaps a shooting star far above you that seems, as it often does when you looked back on this from the mountains some, countless years ago, the stars that seemed to connect with each other as they shot across the sky, as if you were watching a loom being weaved with cosmic threads above you. So I would say that you see that, and if your attention is focused on that mostly, nothing will disturb you from it. Nothing else comes flying up, or suddenly out of nowhere.
No bolts of lightning come to
Something like
blast me out of the sky.
Yeah, exactly,
Iron Man style.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Okay. But it's very soothing to my spirit, which is what Alarian needed. So then they go back and sitting around because, probably repairing their armor after the battle, etc., etc. Go give the cube, get the charge. I'll be back for that later, and then I go and find Merame.
Okay. Well, you find Merame knocking on Tantan's door, I would say. So Tantan, did you just say, oh, yeah, exactly. Because you've been sitting there for like 3 hours, like thinking about what, right? what is this? Yeah.
Tantan, am I disturbing you? May I come in?
Yes.
Wait, yes to which one? The first question or the...
I was like, come on! Come on in. Yes, it's fine.
Oh, okay. And I look, Alarian's there to open the door.
If he doesn't close the door, I'm just going to kind of sit there and wait, because this technically doesn't concern me. Unless...
Oh.
Yeah.
That's fair. Hi, Tantan. Did you sleep? Please tell me you slept.
I slept.
Good. I have a favor to ask, which you can feel free to say no to if you're too tired. Or busy. I take out the masterwork rapiers. I would have preferred finding my own, but it seems silly chasing a rapier that fell 1,000 feet to the earth. Even though I would much prefer having this, but this blade is well weighed and will do the trick. But it although beautiful, it doesn't seem to have any properties that could be particularly handy as I'm slowly getting it closer to
It
you.
just keeps going towards her. She's just like,
At least you didn't do it point first.
right.
And
Yeah.
I was wondering if you, as you helped my last one, if perhaps there was something you could do to make it even more useful in combat.
And he reaches up and takes it and looks at it. It's like, this is very well made.
Mm-hmm.
I could put the same enchantment on it as the last one, or I could make it more effective, if you want.
Like
But
more.
Well, you would
I would.
be a little bit more sharp, easier to wield, and hit your targets and hurt them just a little bit more.
You know, I'm always up for making them die a little bit faster when they're trying to kill us. So that sounds like it could be handy.
Would be. Did you say it wasn't pretty enough?
Oh, well, I mean, it's pretty, but it's not super pretty. It's not very shiny or.
If you want. I have, over the last few hours, realized that I could put some silver on this if you want.
Like, I start to beam. My hair puffs up a bit. I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, yes, if that's no bother, I would be honored, happy, shiny. That would work.
Yes, it would be quite shiny. Yes, that couldn't be an issue. By the way, there is this, and he holds out another healing bracelet, but it's made of a slightly better materials. It doesn't look like, just junk that he wove together and handed to Rowan. We didn't have anything nice.
Smash cut to Rowan. Smash cut back to like.
Oh, this is quite lovely. It actually goes really well with these ribbons here. Thank you.
So, 10 times you will be able to heal with that.
Thank you. That is very useful, and I appreciate the care that you put into it too. Thank you. I didn't realize you paid so much attention to my color palette, because this is perfectly within it.
And as though thinking for the first time, he's like,
Yes. Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Of course,
As I had intended.
As the prophecy foretold.
As the prophecy foretold from the beginning.
Flamewind called me last night. She said, make it this color. Oh, all right.
No, you had a dream.
I could probably finish this sword in about an hour.
Oh, wow. That would be, before we head off, would be great in case we need it. I know the others are doing a few things, so.
If I do this and you find the other one, the enchantment on that one will be gone.
Okay.
It'll just be a plain rapier.
But this one sounds like it'll be quite lovely. The other one I have some emotional attachment to it, but I have more emotional attachment to doing more damage so that we survive. That is my priority.
Presuming you haven't been charmed and turning to fight us, yes.
That would perhaps not happen again.
He stopped, given the conversation he had last night, he stopped for a second and was like, Anyway, yeah, give me an eye.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll be back, and
You turn around to see Hilarion there.
Whoa! Oh, I almost forgot you were there, Hilarion. Hello, how are you?
I step back. So, you not wish to find your original rapier.
I mean, if I had to, I could stab 2 people, but
You just said the other one would not have its original Leomer.
No, it is not necessary. I would hate.
Because it is easy to, well, I believe it will be relatively easy to find if you wish.
Really? How so? Do tell.
Come with me.
I mean,
And
I'll
they
show
lean,
you the
they lean back
world.
into the they lean back into the give us, don't start that for an hour. Just give us a little bit of time. And they
oh no,
motion you to go ahead of them.
you can start. It's okay. I'll get the other. I still want to see this. Thank you. I want.
Whichever.
I mean, I want to see. I want to see what exactly you're talking about, and we have time because I know Nisiana's getting stuff. Rowan's doing some Rowan things, and and I'm now curious because what is this post? It fell 1,000 feet, Alaria, and it might have landed in the paladin, whose body had plummeted to the ground moments before. In fact,
You get down there and it's still.
That would make it easier, wouldn't it?
Yes.
they would quite.
So I'd lead you to what is a nondescript balcony that you, I don't know, have seen or not seen. So like, it just leads to the outside.
I take a step back. I'm like, okay, I have not had a good run with falling off of things, Alaria, and so if I don't know what your idea is, but I'm not interested in like paragliding down and crashing.
Partly. Do you trust me? Well, I assume you trust me,
Of
correct?
course I trust you. I don't trust 1,000 feet drop.
No. It's a good thing we're not dropping anywhere. But I will need to pick you up. May I do that?
What the heck? Let's go.
I was just about to start typing it.
So I bend down and you're like 100 pounds soaking wet, so super easy.
I've
Okay.
got muscle.
I know. No, it's not. That's not your wiring. Is how I compare to.
Yeah, you
And
are.
it's like-
You're 800.
Yeah, 7.5 feet tall. And
Yeah.
that to say, may wish to hold on.
Oh God.
I was too late. And we take off from the balcony and are flying through the air.
Okay, that's pretty fun.
Yes. Now, I
As soon as I
Drop
realize you're flying.
casually, yes, you're not leaping off. It's just a step and then shoot there. And then I start spiraling down to now. This thing hasn't moved. See, the floating citadel hasn't like moved
No.
horizontally. It just went up and down pretty much. So
Right.
it'll be. Yeah. All right. So once we get down near the ground, about like 20 feet off the ground, I just use my arcane ability to find magic to go find her rapier because it will sing to me basically. I just have
So-
to kind of do a spiral search pattern until I track it.
So here's the thing about that. So you
Yeah.
start doing that. This is I like this beach combing approach as it
Pretty
were,
much.
with a metal detector. But here's the thing. You get this sort of, if metaphorically, the sort of ding, and something giving off magic very clearly as you're within, whatever the number of feet.
It's 30 feet.
Okay.
So
So yeah.
it may take some time, but it wouldn't take like hours and hours and hours.
Right. So one of them goes off almost immediately, actually.
Okay. And what is that?
When you land, or you sort of touch down and look,
Right.
you find half buried in the dirt what excuse me, what looks like a single golden like goblet, which is radiating magic. So that's clearly not it. And then you start looking around and you get a lot of ding, 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 and then you realize that the magic school was being shaken up quite a bit, as you may recall, and there were both people and things. There's a lot of magic down here in this here field.
Right.
That horse over there has magical horseshoes on it to make it easier for him to.
And this chicken is laying magical eggs. It's
And
amazing.
here's this peasant with a magical hay thing, picking up the magical hay with the magical. There's a lot of magic down this
How
field.
big is the citadel, whatever it's called? Like, dimension-wise, length and width?
I'd have to think. Let me see. Actually,
And, yeah, picks it up, and then looks at you like, maybe a little trickier than I thought.
I mean, flying is kind of fun when we're not falling.
Indeed.
We
It
could
is
just-
a big change.
We could just have a fly around the four towers and kind of see how everything's faring for fun.
True, but your rapier should be down here somewhere along with everything else. It's just a matter of trying to find it.
As I'm looking around going, yes, but we've
However,
covered like a meter square, and
yeah, right.
found 30 magical things. So
Yeah.
I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
But if it does not have that much, if it does not matter to you, I mean, I will pursue it because I am just waiting for us to leave. But if it does not have that much value to you, then we can leave it behind.
what has value to me is that you are willing to spend your time doing this with me. I do appreciate it, but because they have gifted me
easier.
Several thousand feet, by the way, is the answer to that question, by the way. I think.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And there's 4 of them. So.
Well, it's got to be into this one because that's where she was falling.
Yes, but there are winds when it was falling. I mean, remember you had a lot of stuff going back and forth. But yes, I mean that's fair.
Well, I just looked down at you and like, well, better your blade than yourself.
Agreed. So now, wait, if I fall again, not saying that'll happen, but it might. If I fall again, does that mean that you will jump in and you will be able to catch me?
My speed is limited, although if I am to turn it off and fall to catch you, I could then stop you, yes.
There you go.
There is that.
Perfect.
So
That's
yes,
good to hear.
It is something some Starforged can do, not all of us. It's not inherent within all of us, but it is something I have certainly known of and was hoping that I would gain the ability at some point, and I'm pleased to see it. Look up. Perhaps due to recent events, possibly may have pushed it to the fore. I'm not really sure, but
a silver spoon falls past you, lands on the ground, and you're just like,
Ping.
Right, exactly. The ding like goes off.
Ow. Like 12 damage. Yeah.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant the magic. The sonar.
Yes,
the magic goes
landed in
off.
your mouth.
Like, yeah, exactly.
That's
Was there someone you wanted to visit in the other citadels?
No, the only person I would want to meet with is oh shoot, what was her name? The I saw her as the goth girl at the dinner.
Oh, the one who could read our thoughts.
Yes, I would love to see how that trick happens and if it can be stopped, if I'm honest. But I'm not sure where she is right now.
Let's go find her.
Yeah, because that could be fun. And your flying ability is amazing. I'm so glad that you were gifted that.
There is one other thing I wanted to ask you. And I'm thinking about asking everyone at some point.
Shoot.
When you were a baby, did you find it as inconvenient as I did? Because I was never an infant. This form, I motion to myself, is all I ever was. Starforged do not have a infancy form. We do not grow. We are made fully formed.
Okay.
And when that happened to me, I can only assume it was one of Roman's surges. It was very disconcerting.
Miriam's trying not to laugh.
No.
Remembering the
right. Remembering the baby Warforged, and then looking at you, just like, and I was thinking about it last night while flying higher, and it seems to me that I don't understand how you all survive if every one of you goes through that stage, because it's so inconvenient.
Well, usually when you're a tiny little tot, you don't end up fighting Undead Paladin. I mean, that does help with the survival rate, if I'm honest.
This is fair.
Yeah.
It was unusual, sir.
It was very unusual. I'm glad that you're back to normal, but you were very adorable, Hilarion. Very adorable.
There's not a word usually used to describe me.
I'm just mentioning it, that you were so cute, and you had tiny little gauntleted hands, and your sword was just not, and you couldn't. I'm sorry, the stairs, they were so big compared to you. I'm gonna stop. Don't leave me here. I promise I will stop. Do not. Leave me here.
It is fine. I can look back on it now, and just during the time, it was very, especially knowing what we were going up against. I felt not as effective as I could have been. I mean, certainly there were abilities I had that did help people, but at the same time, I was concerned, especially if I hadn't returned to normal while you and Rowan were almost falling to your deaths. So
I am grateful that you returned to normal when you did. And, there is a thing that humans and elves and Kalishtar and halflings and all of us species who grow up first small, that we learn is that we learn what it's like to be helpless, and we appreciate what it's like to have that power and to use it wisely because of that. And perhaps that is a lesson that you learned.
Well, of course I trust and rely on all of you. We are a unit. We are not just more than a group, more than companions. I would think that we are now friends. Yes. Not just aligned with the King's Citadel's motives, but, looking out for each other, obviously.
Yes, of course. Always.
So,
which is why when you were small, we protected you.
Right.
And now we're glad that you're no longer small and that you can fly. This is like even better.
Indeed. Although, cock my head, flying baby Valerian would have also been hilarious.
Making me lose his edge.
Can I acknowledge Iron Tyke's Fight Club in chat?
And I say that totally deadpan, just act like it's a statement of fact, and she's just cracking up on the ground. Yeah.
Prince Justin says the new spin-off TTRPG, Starforge Babies, with John as Baby Alarian.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh, indeed. Well, I guess your rapier will stay here to be found by someone else who may pick up the blade and perhaps go on an adventure of their own.
It served me well when I needed it, and it served me for a long time, and now it will find someone new.
Yep. Very well. Shall we head back? And yes, I actually would like to see that person too. I find them most interesting. Let's see if we can track them down.
Perfect. Let's go. And I just leap into your arms. Yep.
Pretty much, yeah. Yep. Infinity and beyond.
So there you go. So just to be clear about this, are you going to search out? I think you're talking about Instructor Cornelia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I believe that
the Whispering One. Yes.
Yeah.
So you're going to find that person, if I understand correctly.
Yes.
Okay. So when you look, and many of the people there had spoken to you briefly after the combat was over, tending to your wounds and sort of again expressing their gratitude that you were there to actually help, but also that please, if you wouldn't mind, leave because they're worried in the ways that I've said. Again, nothing against you, but they want the Oracle out of their school, basically. Want these mother snakes off. They want this Oracle off their thing.
Monday through Friday snakes.
So that's the case. However, you could probably just before leaving have a chance to speak briefly to Instructor Cornelia, who looks quite tired. She has been running around along with Zankar and some of the other students to try to, basically help as much as they can. And also, there's a somber mood about the place as well, not just the edge of, we got attacked, but also the somber mood of, they lost some people. This was a tragic event that hit the school, even though it could have been far worse, obviously. And so when you come across Cornelia, she looks quite tired, but she does acknowledge you and says, I understand you are heading away shortly.
Yes, I know that you must be exhausted, and I'm sorry for all that you have lost and those that you knew. But I was wondering if I could impose upon you for one answer, which I'm sure may not be simple to give, but I would appreciate if you could at least try.
Were it not for you, I would not be tired, but dead. So I am most happy to provide any information I can.
You could break through, most of you could break through my telepathic link with my friends. Is there any means by which I could protect that from happening?
Not on this school. We have several, let us call them stones of enhancement, that have been actually woven into the walls of this school. Thus, anywhere that you are, we can use these stones to enhance our own abilities. If you were perhaps even more powerful, remember, you are quite powerful already, but if you were even more powerful, you might have been able to prevent it for a time. But I do not think there is anyone who could resist our ability to break through if we so chose, based upon this place. Were it in another place, down on the ground, in a cave, a dungeon, a cavern, another building, then it might be different. But here, very few would stand up against our scrying. This is by design, as we must be careful, apparently even more careful than we have been.
Yes, I'd say that your hiring techniques might need some refinement.
It is true. We were surprised at the level of a magical ability, and more troubling that we did not sense it. We have much to consider.
The Undying Court is, well, undying. They've had a lot of time to plan this and to prepare an attack and infiltration, so don't be too hard on yourself. Just learn from it and be better next time. You're powerful, and you will be needed in whatever comes next.
That may be so, but I have a sense that you and your companions will be the ones who determine the course of what happens next. I must do what I can here. You must do what you can for a continent, perhaps a world. I would not trade places with you, Marimay Oxmoor.
Well, I appreciate your honesty. Good pep talk. But,
You can do it. No, she doesn't say that. She doesn't say that.
But I mean, if this is situational to this place, then I'll hope that there are a few places such as this where they can break through our telepathic link. It has proven quite handy in the past, so...
One thing that I can tell you, excuse me, if you suspect that there is such a place that might possess it, there is a, And she reaches into the folds of her robes, and she pulls out a small stone. It's a smooth stone, and quite small, maybe the size of like in the U.S. it'd be a 50-cent piece, but like a not a very large item, and it is a kind of glowing blue with gold sort of like streaks through it, almost like mineral deposits or something. And she says, if you use this and hold it up, you can use it to, if you will, detect the presence of a system such as the one we use. It will give you at least the knowledge that there are those, perhaps, with such a system that are breaking into your telepathic communication. But you should know that there are limits. It will not help you if there is a more powerful mage or sensate or psychic tapping into your knowledge without such a system. And also, it has limited uses. Once it has made these detections 2 or 3 times, it will lose all of its power. Nonetheless, if this is of help to you, I am happy to offer it.
If it will not put you at too much of a disadvantage, I would appreciate it.
And she nods and hands over the blue and gold stone. Mechanically, this means, by the way, that you can use it a total of 2 times to make this detection. And unfortunately, it's not if it detects it, it uses it. It's when you try, it's going to do it.
Of
So,
course.
Yeah.
That's fair. I appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you. And I thank her. Thank you and best of luck. Do be safe. And hopefully when next we meet, it will be under better skies.
May the magical energies of the world come to you when you desire them. And she kind of bows. And so the party then at this point is, I believe, going to set off. And I should say that the transportation this time is going to be considerably different. You are, in fact, traveling this time via a small, definitely much smaller airship than the Sabaris Sailor was. But this is an airship that has, at the very least, like when you first get onto it, it looks like just kind of a this unimpressive looking thing. And then one of the people on one of the crew points out to you. It might be Tanton looking at this, I think, but points out to you and sort of points in different directions, and you can see just the faintest glow out sort of off the deck. And what they tell you is that there are basically a total of 10 separate, invisible escort source sleds that are around the airship. And each one of them has like one of their highest level mages. So imagine like 10, 13 to 14th level mages all sitting on these source sleds, all traveling around you as you go. Like, if something takes you out, you might as well be like, well, Corvair's screwed. Like, this is an incredible show of force. Or I shouldn't say show of force. I should say they're showing you the force. But it's extremely secure, at least as far as you can tell. And when you get onto the ship, you were also handed something which is describing a newspaper article which has just appeared in Sharn that they wanted to share with you because it was sent to them via various communication methods I've discussed before. So let me put that up for everybody. Hold on one second. There we go. And show to the players. And no, it's not what I meant to do. I meant to do this. And it's going to show up on stream now. So let me move that over so people can see it. Would any of you lovely people like to read this? This is not a very long one.
I'm not seeing it on Roll20.
GM notes only visible to GM. I'm not.
Oh, wait, no. I thought...
I mean, I can see it on the screen, yes.
It should be doing it now. Show to players. It's not doing it?
Nope.
What's it called?
Let me put it in everyone's journal then.
Bird Chronicle.
There we go. Try that. Now it's on everyone's, should be in everyone's... You should be able to access it now, I think.
Oh yeah, I see it. Newspaper Stonefire.
Oh, yep. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants it?
I think our Bard should read it.
Me?
Yes, you.
Did you just volunteer?
Oh, the other bard.
Yes. Just volunteered you. Yes.
All right. I will be voluntold.
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 Much
Horror
kind.
strikes at heart of Arcan Congress. Chaos reigned in the floating towers of Arcanix yesterday as an unidentified faction launched a surprise attack on Onder's Arcane Congress. Eyewitness reports from the site are contradictory and confused, but at least one of the floating towers is said to have upended in the sky, causing dozens of mages to plummet to their dooms. Unconfirmed reports tell of armed conflicts raging across the college in the moments before the tragic incident, with some witnesses claiming that a cadre of elves was behind the attack. Was this a power play by the fledgling nation of Valinar to establish control of the region? Queen Arala of Onder swiftly put an end to such speculation with the following statement. An attack on the Arcane Congress is an attack on Onder itself. Now is not the time for baseless conjecture about the source of this attack. This is now a matter for the Crown to resolve. Rest assured that any action we take will be swift and decisive. That's it.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that is apparently what is going on back in Sharn. So this attack on Onder has not gone unnoticed, this attack on Arcanix, and probably is just great for a group of people that
are already freaking out about the prospect of war. I'm sure that couldn't possibly cause any greater problems down the line. Okay. So, I'm just grabbing one picture that I'm going to be showing you folks in a moment. Okay, good. Got that. Great. Okay. Other than that, though, the travel is extremely swift, and is not. There's no particular concerns this time about anything else. In fact, everything is surprisingly
Birds are
easy
blown
to
from
go
the
the rest
sky.
of the way.
Nothing is taken the
Yeah,
chance
exactly.
of.
Yeah, not particularly so much. So you are on your way to Flame Keep, and Flame Keep, of course, which is right. I'm going to point this out on the map, which is right here. Flame Keep is the capital of Thrain, and Thrain, all of you know, is a theocracy. It is, in fact, not just a theocracy. It is a theocracy which the people of... Oh, I'm sorry. Yes? What happened?
Portable hole.
Oh, portable hole. Beg your pardon. Sorry, Tanton. I apologize. Yes. So you were asking if they had one or they could get you one, right?
Or make one.
Or make one. They can make it. And it shouldn't take them long to do it, but it isn't like an hour long. It would probably take about a day or two, but they can make one. Yes. And just as they gave the other ones, they are actually willing to do this gratis. They will, because again, as I've said, they're really grateful. So they are willing to do that.
Good, because Tanton otherwise would be like, I could leave it here.
Right. Yeah, they are willing. They are willing to do it. Are you gonna? Well, wait though. Are you thinking about putting the oracle inside the?
That is the entire reason for getting it.
Okay. Be aware. It's possible you could do this. Be aware, though, that there is, because of the oddity of the oracle as like a magic item, there could be unexpected effects inside the portable hole. I'm not saying that will definitely be the case. Just something to think about, basically.
I guess we're gonna find out what they are.
Yeah. Put it in there.
Hopefully, if anything we put in there gets destroyed, perfect.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. I was thinking more like ruptures, You open up a bag of holding into a portable hole,
We had a bag of devouring. We called it a portable hole and gave it back.
Yeah,
no problem. You just put the fucking thing in there right away.
Look, you can't break an oracle without breaking an oracle. You know what I mean? You can't make an omelet without breaking an oracle.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to? Do you want to wait for a day, or are you gonna come back for it? Because they can.
How are they going to get it to?
Well, they could probably send it after you. You would think that they'd be able to deliver it to you essentially. But it would be about a day to do that. So
Tactically, that would actually be good because of where we're going. We need to show up with it, and then we can make it disappear, and they won't know how we made it disappear.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So they are willing to do that. And remind me, I've made a note for myself, but please do remind me, as you just did, about that. So, so I just wanted to mention this, so Thrain decided during the last war to set aside the rule of the monarchy and embraced the leadership of the church. They basically felt that it was political machinations that had put them in the position they were in as it was. And so for the last 70, they decided they had finally been done with it.
Some guy named Theo has been running everything.
That's right. But for a number of years, Thrain had been very religiously oriented anyway, and then officially during the last war became this full-out theocracy. But you also know that the head of state is actually the divinely selected keeper of the flame, who is an 11-year-old named Jayla Darren. And Jayla Darren is the person who is the keeper of the flame. I would use the example of was selected a little bit like the Dalai Lama, is selected even as, so the Dalai Lama becomes the Dalai Lama, when they're selected even at the age of 9, 10, or 11. And so that's the same thing here. And there is a council of cardinals that perform the practical work of running the nation. And as you are flying through and into the capital, you are struck by the extraordinary amount of light. In fact, when you first get there, you all sort of like are kind of blinded a bit by it. Like you're just sort of like, wow, this is really, really bright. And it turns out the reason is that many of the walls and glass and windows and so forth are angled so as to reflect and capture as much of the light as possible. And that is never more the case than with this item that I am about to put on the screen on not Roll20, sorry, on the Twitch stream in just a moment. And that is...
Tangent's got his goggles down with a couple of filtering lenses.
Yeah.
Oh, that's much better.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, it's very overwhelming. In fact, you're told by one of the crew that it takes usually a few days to like fully adjust to this. But this is what it looks like as you come close, the Grand Cathedral. You can see that the whole thing is just suffused with light. It is really looks more like a castle than a church.
More like Notre Dame is what it looks like.
Yeah, right? Like, exactly. But you can see, yes, but you plus spires that never showed up on Notre Dame over there on the outside. It is surrounded as well. This is a massive building, first of all, but it's also surrounded by a collection of smaller buildings which seem to vary between either utility or defense. And together they form what looks like essentially their own self-sufficient sector in the center of Flamekeep. Lots of spires in Flamekeep. Sharn is the city of towers, but those towers are huge, and half the time you're up on levels and whatever. This is this very much feels like the city of spires, with roofs in some cases seeming to try to outstrip each other to get even closer to the sky and to the sun. As this happens, as you sort of get close, the airship with its attendant source sleds, invisible source sleds, glides down to what essentially looks like, to jump out of game for a minute, it's like a helipad, like basically this thing on the outside of the cathedral where you can land this thing. And then you are greeted by several white cloaked and masked guards. They are carrying these bright, shining, and it looks like they're made out of some kind of incredibly well-refined and smooth wood, like white wood. And when you come sort of out to the thing, they bow. And they don't say anything, but they turn and then gesture. And you see from the end of each of their staves, this slight sort of trail of white light sort of glows in the direction of the door that apparently is this sort of, entry point into the Grand Cathedral.
They just cast Find the Path.
Yeah, assuming you follow them, they escort you. And they will bring you to the building's second level, where you enter a sparsely decorated study. And standing up from behind a desk is an interesting figure, which I will again be showing you on stream.
Big bar. No!
Logothcus, no. You see, as this person stands, a person who introduces himself to you as Cardinal Torazun. And he says, I am a member of the Council of Cardinals. I am aware that you have come bearing something for us, but I must know your identities and the reasons behind your visit. We are in a time of approaching war, and it is my job to protect the keeper of the Silver Flame. Therefore, I must ask you for details of why you have come. Kind of waits and looks.
I'm letting someone else be the first to talk here.
Because our king asked us to help build an alliance with you.
I am sure your king may have found it of interest. The question is whether our leaders have felt the same. I should note, by the way, for the record, Mermaid, that you were told that the Keeper personally requested you, just so you know.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. So, well, the keeper requested our presence, and so we came.
And so there's a pause. He says, this may be a matter better handled by one of the High Cardinals. The Keeper of the Flame is extremely busy. Perhaps if you were to speak to the High Cardinal Crozin, that might be of more value to you.
We were told to speak to the keeper, and so we shall speak to the keeper as their request.
You must understand that I am responsible for protecting this keeper, and it is not your job to determine who will have an audience with whom. Seems a little agitated.
Understandably, and I apologize if I've misspoken. I don't actually laugh. I'm just thinking.
You can. I mean, it's up to you.
No, not yet. If I've misspoken, however, we do want to respect the keeper of the Silver Flame, as the offices do all of the respect, and part of that respect is, of course, agreeing to come when asked to do so, but also meeting with the person we agreed to come as per their request.
Make a persuasion check for me, please.
Good, because Canton's about to pipe up, and that would screw up your roll.
I was waiting for a crossbow to come out. Really?
That is Nisiana kind of just sort of idling closer to.
Yeah.
But don't we have an ambassador with us? Wasn't there like a person who was supposed to be with us?
There was an entourage basically.
No. The person who was at the Arcane, who was on the ship with us.
On the Severa sailor with us, and we saved them.
Right, that's right.
Our way.
Yes, that's right. That's true. The ambassador. Yeah, they died. No. No, you did save them. The ambassador traveled with you. The ambassador, though, is at the moment remaining quiet, and you get the impression that this is partly because they want. It's very clear that you were the ones that saved everybody, and so the ambassador is going to be the one that handles like a lot of the diplomatic like it's the clerk almost, right? Like they're going to handle a lot of the business of who gets what and goes where, and like what meetings happen at what time and things like that.
That's exactly the situation we're in.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's true. It's possible the ambassador also is thrown off a little bit by this Torazun guy. In any case, was that a 19 that I saw? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay. So Torazun says, well, very well. If you've been requested personally, then I suppose I must not wait longer. It's important that you speak to who you must. Very well. I will bring you to the keeper. And then you hear a voice that says, who must be brought to find me, Torazun? And you look up to see a young girl has entered the room, flanked by a pair of heavily armed escorts. Again, I mentioned these ones with the white robes and so on. That's what these people look like, except instead of robes, they are wearing glowing, gleaming white plate armor. Like, basically like this... They look literally like white knights. Is the only way I can describe them. And the girl herself has dark skin and black hair, which is cut short above the neck of her plain black and gray robes. And she has bare feet and walks across the marble floor towards you. And Torazun bows and says, Keeper, these people have come to see you from the nation of Brayland. They come bearing something of great power. And she gives you all a warm smile and says, I know. Thank you for coming. I have been awaiting your arrival. We have much to discuss, I think. And that's where we're going to bring our session to a close. But it didn't end this time with you falling through the air. It followed. Not yet.
Yeah.
This time it's
Second, the floor disappears.
Exactly.
But first, you want to pass my test.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
First, the test of flight. No.
No problem.
Yeah, exactly. You got this covered. All right, and I should move all of your. Just struck me. Let me move everybody except. Okay, move you over here. but not Halara because Halara is back over there. Okay, actually, Halara's over. Oh no, I put him Salvation, I think, right? So he's over there. Great, lovely. Now I know where everybody is.
Someone with more wherewithal than I, please check whether that is the GM confirming that Halar is doing things that we do not know.
Yeah, no. That's so. I hear you like to fly, Critwood. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so very, very fun stuff. I was absolutely adoring it was fun to play out, as I'll talk about when I get to Brandon. It was fun to play out the stuff with Rowan, but it was really, really fun. Not only watching Rowan and Tanton have this conversation about what could go on, but what you didn't see, chat, was this massive amount of like back and forth among the players being like, who do you think it is? Like, we got this list of all of these people.
Phones.
What about this? What about this? Maybe it's this guy. Who is the mole? It was very, very funny. And I don't mean funny it was amusing because I know that it was exactly the thing that I'd be thinking about myself. And this stuff really turns my crank. I'm a big fan of this stuff. And also really sets up nicely for what the party is going to have to do here. They really are now become the negotiators of nations, right? Like, that's really the sort of level that they've reached. Can they do so while also figuring out what happens when you deal with traitors? We'll find out. John, I'll start with you. I loved the little moment with Ilarion flying and looking up at the sky with the stars. That was great. Also, unexpected humor. Was not imagining that we were going to get a big discussion of being like, perhaps a flying baby could do the job. That was not something I had, in the back of my mind, or sort of you being like, I love this sort of thing of like, why exactly are people babies? Like, why do you do this? Like, what do you deal with this? What is like? I mean, I just that was.
At least you didn't ask where babies came from.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is great.
Who makes these?
Look,
and you're like,
it's obviously magic. Okay, these are like magically created.
Clearly magic.
So it was. Yeah, this was great, and I'm glad it went the way it did. We try to make these have more of an impact, and yes, it was hilarious last time, but during the downtime between this last session and this time, I'm like, well, wait a minute. I actually thought about how would this affect Ilarion, who's never been that way. I mean, yeah, they've probably been reduced in size one time. Oh, yeah, sure, but I still have my 18 strength or whatever. Never been turned into a literal Starforged baby. And that really shook them down to their core. Babies. And so it's like, I got to get some insight on this. And this might not be the last conversation they have with characters, because each one of these people will give a very different answer to their question. So yeah, but they started with Merime because they thought it'd be easier to find that damn Reaper than it was. Well, but since they were by themselves, and yes, got to fly more, which is always going to be a thing. They posed the question. I posed a question to her, and yeah, we had a very interesting conversation about it, which was great. So yes, then it came up with the whole thing about flying Starforged baby, because yes, that would be adorable. But yes, it was hilarious, and yeah, the flight up was terrific. I wish I'd made that perception roll, but it is what it is. So yeah, much fun, much
fun. And anything you want to point out before we see you next time on?
2 weeks to Origins, folks, in Columbus, Ohio. A certain other person of the party will be there along with me, so stop by the CGO booth if any of our people are going, and say hello. And I think I don't know if we're doing panels or not. I have no idea. So otherwise, I produce stuff. I work with all of you folks in various ways, from audio books to real books to ebooks to games. So.
Wait, yep, I knew that wasn't going to go by. Audiobooks to real books. Wow. Not as opposed to the Fisher Price, my first book that people like Trend do, like that.
Exactly. There you go. Physical books. I say physical books.
I know. It's just really funny because I thought that I was like, Trend is like, like that's
fighting words.
Yeah. Well, good stuff, John. Yeah. Thank you. And we will be, if all goes well, I think next week, right, is when we have plans.
Back to back, baby.
Yeah, back to back. Good stuff tonight, John. Also, Jen, I know that Nisiana didn't have a chance to do a whole lot here, but there's a whole lot set up coming up, especially for next week. I imagine that Nisiana is going to have some level of interest in this sort of largely religious theocratic society, which is like hardcore, we are the light, I can imagine there could be both sort of annoyance with that, but also sort of, they're quite a group, so I'm looking forward to seeing Nisiana's reaction there. But also, I am interested as well to see how Nisiana reacts to this portion of the mission, given the situation that she's just been through, the risk, the danger that the party has been through, her not that long removed situation with, wait, my words can actually hurt someone and I have to think about that. Like, there's a whole bunch of things, it seems to me, character-wise that are going on for Nisiana. So I know there was not as much foreground stuff for Nisiana this time. There will be coming up, but there was a lot, it seems to me, that Nisiana's got to think about and process, I guess. So given that, how did you feel about today's session? Where will the lovely folks find you next?
Well, I thought it was fun to watch everything go on, and the backroom conversation of who could it be
Yeah, that was
and
great.
why was lovely because when it finally gets to the group, I think a certain wild card is going to be very surprised at Nisiana's reaction to the whole thing because of various reasons. Slight bit of housekeeping. I just happened to look at my feat toughness.
Okay.
And I have not been adding the +2 to my hit points every level for like many levels.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. How many levels, dude?
At least 5. I don't know.
Okay.
So
Easiest way is to just tabulate what it would be if you did.
Yeah, +2 you said, right?
Yeah,
would be
For
the,
each level.
so if we assume, because that would have been like you probably picked it. Yeah, so you would have picked up the feat at
8th level.
8th level,
'cause 3 of
5
us
now, so
Right.
5 levels. So then, although I feel like you would have added it the first time, wouldn't you?
It's
Yeah,
retroactive.
It's retroactive. So then it
Yeah.
would be the next 4 levels after that, Nisiana or Jen, for
the
Nisiana.
the first one at 9, I probably did it.
Right. So what I'm saying is
Yeah.
you picked it up at 8, so you would have been retroactive to that point. So
Yeah,
then
and then-
9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, so 5. Yeah, so I guess 10 points. So it should be 123 instead of 113.
Yeah, I was like, huh.
No, it's all good. That's
I haven't
fine.
looked at this feat in a while. I should probably make sure. But otherwise, I will be here next week. And then I will be at Origins, but I will be in what's called Author's Alcove, which is in the Dealer's Hall at 1918, which is a large group of people. And apparently we're supposed to actually have banners this time, like an arch, and
Fun to
it's
see.
supposed to be, advertised. So hopefully,
What a
if you're
concept.
going to Origins, I will see you there. And I think Rem has some things planned for people who buy stuff from the various Catalyst authors and other places. So I have to follow up with her on that and make sure. But yeah, I'm a theocracy. I mean, we just left a temple of evil. At least we're in a temple of a city of good, even if they have they don't have quite the right reflection on things. But you know what? The Silver Flame is part of Eberron, so
They're on the path.
they're
somehow.
all working for Eberron anyway.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
It's like
So-
they're you're the it's like the Coast Guard, backing up the Marines or something, like or whatever, like it happens that way. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Jen. Good stuff tonight. Brandon, great role play work, as I would have suspected, with the whole thing with Fjarlin. That was a lot of fun to do, and really sort of plays on this idea of Rowan as this outsider who could be this potential disruptive force. And then following up with that, going over so that you and Tren got to do this really awesome bit of role play of like, here's this thing, and like Tantum being like, well, I'm not done with my list. And it was funny because it was like you were having your own surface conversation. We were talking about that, as I said, the green room, if you will, Convo and Zoom. And some elements were like, well, what about this? And there were things that were like interweaving a bit with that conversation, which was really fun. But it was really enjoyable to see it and to get a sense of, what does all of this mean? And then Tanton thinking about what that's going to mean was interesting because you kind of passed on your your thought process, I suppose, to them. I also wanted to say that I just quickly loved your expression when Tanton was like, well, I charged them a reasonable price, and Rowan's reaction is like, it's like this. We have to talk. How old are you?
How have you been in this business for so long?
Like
and
what?
I've not been observing traditional capitalist practices. Like come
you
on,
sure
how
you've
do
never
I
heard of
teach
the
you to be a
concept of money?
scoundrel?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun, and so things to think about all the way around. How did you feel about the session today? Where will the folks find you next?
Yeah, I'm not dead again. Third session in a row.
Yeah. Not even close to death this time.
Don't jinx it.
First of all, I like interacting with Fjarlan. Please let's keep doing that. Speaking kind of to that wildcard element, I do like that one of the things about Rowan's presence in the King's Citadel is because he is so new to the group and new to the conflict that is taking place. Nobody knows how to engage with him about what the stakes are. It's like everybody's like, well, you've been traveling with the King's Citadel for quite some time now. Are you sure you're not just a member of the... No, I don't think of myself as a member of the King's Citadel. What would make you... I just want to get back home whenever this is done. But I'm gonna finish the job, though. So do you care about the job or not?
Yeah.
I do like playing with that quite a bit. I think the way that Rowan feels about this situation is... It's like... being a freelancer on the team that's supposed to ensure that a meteor doesn't fall to Earth. I'm gonna make sure the meteor doesn't collide with the planet, but this is not my job. If you ask me to stay with NASA after this is over, I will tell you no.
Right. Right.
So yeah. Also, I purposefully decided, and I'm sure Tren kind of picked up some of the reasons why, but why I settled on only going to Tren beyond, yes, Rowan does actually believe that if he went to Nisiana first, it would be very emotional first, and we would solve problems later. No disrespect to Nisiana, but that's the way that Rowan suspects will take place.
Rowan is going to be very surprised.
Yeah, these were your friends, but anyway, but also there's a modicum of Rowan believes that Tanton has a skill for deduction that has only been applied to machines so far and would obviously be useful for asking questions like this. Plus, Rowan is, always looking for opportunities to annoy Tanton, but also because Tanton is the person that Rowan knows the most.
Right.
All of the assumptions that Rowan is making about everybody else is based on the interactions that we've previously had. But even the parts that surprise Rowan about Tanton are things that he's prepared to work on and resolve. We're gonna make you a con man. It's gonna happen. I guarantee you. You're gonna tell one lie before this campaign is over, and it will be so sweet to Rowan. But yeah, I am very excited to engage with the espionage mystery of determining who wants us dead. That's going to be a lot of fun. To Rowan, because Rowan doesn't care about anybody else. And if we do learn that Sky Blue or Halar is in fact the traitor, he will just start opening fire on kneecaps. And wait for everybody else to have their feelings afterward. So yeah, hi, I'm Brandon O'Brien. I am a poet, writer, and game designer from Trinidad and Tobago. You can find me almost everywhere on the internet at The Rising Tides. That's TITHES. I have a website, which is also my newsletter at brandonobrien.xyz. This is my reminder that on ko-fi.com/The Rising Tides, you can buy for $10 or more a very small 2-player game that I've made called The God of Spite and Violence, which empowers one of you to play against the GM on the mission to venture into what is metaphysically hell and discover the person who ruined your life. And Stove his head in with a ball peen hammer until he stops ruining your life. Also, I wrote a poetry book, Can You Send My Tentacle? Chan had it next to his head a little
really
bit.
Good.
It's cool. It's a nice book. I think you should read it if you haven't. So yeah, that's me.
Good stuff tonight, Brandon. Very good as always. Also, great stuff, Marie from Marame. The sequence with you and Alarian, sort of like I can just, can you read my mind? Right. Flying around thing was great, especially because like, wait, you want me to jump? We're going into the air again? Like, what the? So, and then obviously the fact that, there's a whole, are we going to find the rapier or not? That was interesting. Also, little funny humor moment with Tanton about like, if that's okay, if you're fine, are you all right? What's going on with that? So there's all that.
Is it good?
But it also occurs to me that when Marame discovers some of these aspects about, is there a traitor, like some of this stuff that's going to be presumably discussed over time, that will also be stuff that Marame will have to consider about, does she know anyone specifically? Is there something that the power of the Kalashtar dream is something that she might have to use? There's all sorts of things I could imagine that would be associated with this. And so that's going to be interesting to see how Marame deals with that, given Marame's real desire to protect people, which has gotten, despite her continued good humor, even more that way as more perilous situations have presented themselves. So it'll be interesting to me to see how that develops Marame's character over time. How did you feel about the session today, and where will the fine folks find you next?
I had a great time. I'm looking forward to stabbing more people. That is where Merime's heart is.
Yeah.
Yes. I had a great time. Yeah, the conversation with Larian was a lot of fun, and with Tenton. I'm sure there will be future conversations with Misiana and Rowan that will also be a lot of fun. It was fun watching everybody play as always too. I am very curious about this whole traitor thing, because we know that somebody betrayed us for the ship to go down. And now the Undying Court found us. Like, there's just a lot of stuff going on that's not super pleasant right now. And I'm looking forward to having a conversation with this Keeper of the Silver Flame. Or watching others have conversations and enjoying it from the background. But yeah, a lot of fun. I love this game a lot. It's always a pleasure to be here. And next you can find me here next Saturday.
That's right, next Saturday. And thank you. Good stuff again, Marie. And thank you for the raid. I appreciate. I'm glad that you got done to this session. We're actually just wrapping up ourselves, but fear not, because I have a good person to send you to in just a minute. But thank you, Game Master Eric, and thank you for the follow. Welcome everybody. What were you playing? What was your session? Obviously, some D&D-ish related thing, but I appreciate that, Game Master, and welcome, Raiders. We are finishing up this session of a long-running campaign that's going to bring them in the end to level 20 of, if they make it that far, to Eberron Oracle of War. And we're just wrapping up what was a really fun session tonight. So thank you, Marie. Good stuff. Last but certainly not least, Tren. Again, some really interesting things from Tanton. I agree that the idea of sort of with deduction, Rowan to believing that Tanton has this sort of deductive ability. That's very interesting to me to kind of follow that out more. And there are some other aspects in which thinking about, Tanton's uncertainty about like thinking through who could be a problem and who could be a traitor and what does that theoretically mean? Even the idea that you put on the list, you were talking about like, well, Merrick's would be like this person on the list. And you're like, well, wait, but there's other people. And maybe I love the sky blue thing where you were just kind of like I know, like Ron's like, I wouldn't suspect her of anything. And you were like, exactly. It's just like, so that was fun to watch. And it'll be interesting to see Tanton going that way. In addition, of course, to a lot of the Artificer stuff that is likely to be coming into play in our next session, looking at the things that are actually the way that things are manufactured around here, and whether there is something that can be used to the King Citadel advantage if needed. So lots of different cool stuff regarding that. How did you feel? Also, you got to pretend that you woke up twice. So there was that, with two different people.
Probably not far from the truth.
Yeah. How'd you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
The sky blue thing, while Rowan was talking and I was sitting there, I was like, because completely unprepared for this line of thinking. When he came in and started doing this thing, I'm like, oh shit, okay, shift gears, hang on. And it's like, okay, I got to spool this up because I got to think things a different way. And there was a point where I was like, who would be the worst possible option? That would be Halal. He's probably the person we trust the most. He would be the most devastating. But who is the person we would suspect the least? Because they're not necessarily the same person. And the first thought that went through my head was Sky Blue. And I'm like, ooh. And I looked over to the chat. I saw somebody had already said Sky Blue. I'm like, yeah, okay. And it was great. I figure with it'll come out, or we'll die. One of the two, or both at the same time.
I figured it.
We will die as it comes out. Yeah. Wait a minute. I know who it was. With the rapier thing. As soon as they're like, no, hold on, wait an hour before you start working on it, which was the last instruction he was given. And so I figured they're probably, sailing around down there with their 30-foot range looking for this thing amongst all of the stuff. It's like looking for nails in, with a magnetic thing, in anywhere that there's been like a fire in a town. You just tons of nails come up out of the. Anyway, I imagine that he probably waited an hour and then started working on it. And there would have been a moment where Larian would have been like, there. And
they go, pew!
And it just wakes out and it's like, no, damn it.
Son of a.
But I also figured that when they come back up, that Mary May would come back to Tangent's room and he'd be sitting there with the rapier across his lap, and it would already be silvered, and he would basically be asleep, with like the mage hand holding one of his jeweling tools, just going in one spot as he's like asleep over the thing in the process of.
Because it's not like you could just go back to sleep after Rowan's like, all right, perhaps a traitor, and then leaves, and you're just like, yeah, exactly.
Our lives are in danger, and we don't know by whom. Sleep well.
Sleep well. Have a nice night. Have a nice night.
Yeah, I figure that's probably the best time to hit him with stuff like that is when he's just waking up, because he's like, what? And he's just jumping to the wrong meaning of whatever it is you're saying. Mm-hmm. It's like faculty. Yes, these people. It's like, no, not the faculty of the. Oh God, wake up, Jen. Yeah, lots of fun. I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the GoFundMe.
Yes, and thanks again to those who contributed and got up to 1,500 tonight. 8,500 to go.
For those of us who still have our inspirations from this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did any of it?
Yeah.
Did Rowan use it?
I used mine.
Rowan used it for sure. Yeah.
For an insight almost immediately.
Now and I will note to everybody that these inspirations though are going to reset next month because there's too much logistically going on.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Is that we need to use these things.
Right. Use them or lose them next time. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah. So with the GoFundMe to try to raise enough money for me to get a proper recording booth so that I can do more work more efficiently for more people, mostly these people here. If you can donate, that's great. If you can't, just please spread the word about it. Maybe you've got a friend who's got an extra $5 that they're not going to be, they're like, I'm fat, I need to stop buying Girl Scout cookies. Well, don't buy that box of cookies. Give it to me instead. It helps us both out. You give me money to do the thing, and you.
It's quite a demographic, that
fat.
group. There's a lot, so many that fall into that description.
Not that I just go rabid over Thin Mints or anything, but whatever, it's fine. Where will people see me next? Here next week.
Next week.
Right back here for more of this.
Yep. It's going to be a good time. I will point out, by the way, that so we had to start at 8 o'clock early tonight because I had my son's birthday party. I mentioned to the group that
We're not having his birthday party again.
No, we're not.
Week, right?
I am going to be away with the family, though, so we're also going to be starting at 8 p.m. next time. So just as a note, and then we'll be back to our usual 7:30s after that. But this was wonderful stuff. I really love the intrigue stuff, and this party is great.
Are you streaming remotely?
Yes, I'm streaming remotely with the power of a new external monitor that was on sale that I managed to get, like a portable one. So yes, I'm excited for it. But that is going to do it for the session for tonight. So chat, can we get some love for the amazing crew of Infinity and Beyond as we are continuing with Season 4. Thank you to Trendane Sparks. Thank you to Marie Bilodeau. Thank you to Brandon O'Brien. Thank you to Jennifer Brozek. Thank you to John Helfers. Great work as always, crew. I will see you folks next week. Bye for now.
See you next week, everyone.
Lovely. All right. So that is going to do it for this, but it's not going to do it for us overall. So don't bail out just yet, because we are going to raid someone, and I just want to talk briefly about what's happening next. So we will be off tomorrow and Monday, but we will be back on Tuesday with D&D with viewers. If you liked what you saw tonight and you're like, man, I wish I could play D&D a little bit with some of these people and play with Arv and all that, well, you're going to get your chance, because you're going to get a chance to do so on Tuesday afternoon at noon Eastern. Now, again, I want to remind everybody that this noon Eastern time is going to be not, I don't want to say like a hard start, because it may be a few minutes afterwards. We may not actually get rolling till like 12:20, 12:30. But the point is, once I have the people selected, and I'm going to basically go with 3 or 4. Once we have that selected, we're going to run and we're going to roll, because I cannot go late for that, other than like maybe 3:30 p.m. Eastern at the absolute latest, because then I have to go do the Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which is the first sort of premiere of By the Dice Roll, which is the new group name for that over on GOGcom's Twitch channel. So I have to be out of here and go get that prepped. So that means that we're going to be playing from noon until like 3. So if you're interested in doing this and you're like, I want to be a part of it, a couple things to note. You need to have a microphone, to play. You will need to have, it's strongly preferred, although not required, but it's strongly preferred that you have a camera, a webcam of some kind. It is also required, pretty much, that you be willing to commit to the full time. This will be about a 2-hour thing, so you need to commit to it. If you do it and you're like, oh, I have to leave after 15 minutes, that's no good. So please make sure that you are committing to the whole thing. And it is appreciated, although not required. I should say you need to have like a basic knowledge of Dungeons and Dragons, but I mean very basic. Like we can work you through a whole lot of stuff. You don't need to have extensive experience and, I play all the time. Like, you don't need to be like that, but you need to have some basic experience that you can bring to bear with it, so that when I say roll a d20, you're not like, what the hell is a d20? That maybe you want to sit this one out and watch if that's the way it is. But if you know a little bit about it, then definitely please do join us. I will run you through some cool short adventure, one-shot adventure, and that'll be again D&D with viewers noon coming up on Tuesday. Then 4:15 p.m. Eastern over on GOGcom's Twitch channel will be Pen and Pixels playing with the Ghosts of Saltmarsh campaign will continue, and then back on my channel on Tuesday evening, that'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern, as the Arvocalist will return with more Banner Saga 3. So it's going to be a good time. Yeah, that's a good video too, Wispy Song. That's an older one now too. It's been out for a long time. So anyway, that is the deal with that, and I hope that folks enjoyed this as much as I did. It was definitely a good time. If you liked what you saw and heard, I hope you will follow the channel. I hope you will check out the YouTube. Oh, wait, before I do all of that, no one go anywhere. I forgot, because we are going to be doing a raid today. I should say that. The Arvanauts have landed, followed by Twitch raid. Lowercase Twitch, uppercase R, lowercase AID. I know exactly who we're going to be raiding, and this person is actually on, so that's good. And I'm going to tell you this time who we're going to be raiding. I don't usually do that, but in this case I am, because I really I want to because of this particular situation, which I'll explain in a minute. So Arvany Hype, Arvanuts have landed, Arvany Roar, Arvany Witch, Arvany Smug, Arvany Love, Arvany Blown, Arvany Woe, Arvany Crit Hit, all of the Arvanys when you are brought over auto-magically during this raid. So please follow the channel. Check out the YouTube at !ArvTube. Thank you for those who are watching me over on the YouTube channel. Please spread the word over there. Please sub over there. And please join us back on Twitch as well if you found me through YouTube. Discord is !ArvCord. Twitter !ArvTweets. Blue Sky !ArvSky. Website arvanelleron.com. Financially, !ArvShop is the merchandise area. You can get shirts like this, the Infinity and Beyond stuff, as well as stuff specific to the Eberron campaign and other campaigns as well. Both gives money to the channel and also gives you some cool swag. !ArvTreon, that's the Patreon right there. If you support at a high enough tier, you can get an inspiration to help our players. You can get a lot of cool stuff, epic character backgrounds, epic poems, all different things that you get. Plus, you move the channel towards various channel goals as well. So please do support us over on the Patreon. Also consider subscribing to us on the channel, as several of you did today. That also really helps. And in addition to the Patreon, inspiration that you can get from that, you can also get custom sub badges and emotes to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch as well. We think we have among the best emotes on Twitch, so you can join that group if you want to subscribe and be a part of this. Otherwise, on the publishing side, Icarus is my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Library, my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. That's my best-selling 5e adventure sourcebook and supplement. I should say adventure and supplement from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And Greyshade, as you can see Prince Justin just put in there now. Greyshade and Renegade, the first two books of the Grey Assassin trilogy. Those are out now. You can also, at that link, you can get them right now. You can also get the audiobook of Greyshade done by our very own Trent Sparks, who is running that GoFundMe that we talked about. You can also you can pre-order the copy of Greyshade, the tabletop role-playing game, which is going to be designed by Brandon O'Brien and coming to you from Alligator Alley Entertainment. That'll be out late this year. And of course, Greyshade will also get you to where you can pre-order the final book in the Grey Assassin trilogy, which is Heretic. And that is coming out in July. We have a special cover reveal for that coming up a week from this Tuesday. And then we have a special reading event happening at BlackRock Books in late July to celebrate the release of this book and the conclusion of the Grey Assassin trilogy. And as Triffa just noted, pre-orders are love, pre-orders are life. So definitely you want to be a part of that if you can do that going forward. Otherwise, BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Help Now, that's the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage, and send the message we will do so for others in the future. Now, the person that we are rating tonight is the birthday boy, Drew the Damager. Obviously, Drew the Damager is a perfect person to be rating today. I believe that Drew is going to be playing Ori in the Blind Forest. So definitely let's head over there. And what is it that just happened? What worked? What did a thing? What worked? A list of commands? Something worked. I don't know what exactly worked. But anyway, so we should definitely head over and support our good friend Drew, which will be a lot of fun. So we're going to go do that in a raid as soon as this video concludes. Otherwise, I will be back to you folks on Tuesday, noon Eastern, for some D&D with viewers. So thank you to all my wonderful mods tonight. Thank you to Dragon Spear, to Prince Justin, Shadow Mage, The Rising Tides, Triffany Mats, the best in the business. Thank you all. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and subscribers, Dragon, Prince Justin, Shadow, Rising Tides, Triffid, R Polar, Wispy Song, Crit Twitch, Live Suing, Trendane, and Zed Proxy. And thank you to my wonderful viewers. Thank you to Anila for Red Dragon. Thank you to Anime Wolf. Thank you to Ciodel, Cyrilin. Thank you to Friendly here. Thank you to Jagtris, Nonstop, Pedigree, Ribbons, and Xavi. Thank you everyone so much for being here. Thank you as well to Gamer Eric for the raid tonight, and thank you in particular to my players, the Infinity and Beyond crew. Thank you so much to Trent Sparks. Thank you to Marie Bilodeau. Thank you to Brandon O'Brien. Thank you to Jennifer Brozek, and thank you to John Helfers for being awesome. I will see you folks back here on Tuesday. Stick around for the video and then the raid to Drew the Damager. Happy birthday to Drew, and I will see you folks down the line. More Eberron to come next week as well. Until we speak next time, everyone be good to each other. Much love, and have a good night.
Most folks in Eberron live their lives hoping to survive and protect the ones they care about the most. A few do that and more, trying to help those around them, even the ones they don't know. But only one group does all that when no one else can. The King's Citadel. The ones who do the job no one else can do. Eberron, the Shield. A star-forged aegis whose strength lies in their shield, their armor, and their will to keep the Citadel and its mission safe. Merime, the Sword. A Kalashtar bard whose dreams have grown more troubled, the sight of her future grown more dim, but whose skill in battle, wisdom in counsel, and love for her sister and the Citadel has grown even stronger. Tantin, the Brain. A dragon-marked human artificer whose jovial demeanor conceals a deep curiosity, razor-sharp intellect, and long memory, with knowledge of what he did for the last war, and what he can or must do for the next one. Nisiana, the Heart. A dragon-marked halfling healer whose love for her sister is matched only by her desire to help and heal the members of the Citadel, even as the threats they face grow stronger and stranger, and even if she herself can't know where the next path might lead. Rowan, the Wild Card. A human wild magic sorcerer who's played a dangerous game for most of his life. Now he's gone all in to save his friends. But will he have the chips to pay if his bet is called? These 5 elite operatives came together to aid the salvage outpost of Salvation, where the Grey hovers nearby, a threat and a promise. With the Oracle of War, they found an artifact powerful enough to end a war, or begin one. They traveled to Sharn, City of Towers, and started to unravel the Oracle's mysteries while stopping assassination attempts from the Emerald Claw and the Nation of Thrain. They found Sky Blue, the daring thief somehow tied into the ancient draconic prophecy, and stopped the Claw operative Erulin Karnak before traveling back to Salvation and into the Grey to take down the repurposed Conclave outpost, repel a war-forged invasion, and take the fight to the Lord of Blade's secret fortress, Razorcrag. They found an elemental forge of great power and rescued both hostages from Salvation and the maker of the Oracle of War himself. But the cost, and Braelish soldiers and the mighty floating fortress Argoth taken by the Lord of Blades himself, was high. Now the King's Citadel must widen their world, traveling to the neighboring countries of Karnath, Thrain, and beyond. They've saved Salvation, navigated Sharn, and neutralized Razorcrag. But can they learn the Oracle's secrets, unmask the Emerald Claw, and stop a war? Only if they remember that in the end all they have is each other and the King's Citadel. Long live the King. Welcome to Eberron. Welcome to Corvair. Welcome to the world beyond Salvation.